Nerdrotic.com.
Hello. Greetings. That ended abruptly. Happy belated birthday, America. I'm wearing my Captain America shirt. I almost broke out my my Factory X shield. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow on Real BBC, on the Real BBC, which is going to be on Az's channel tomorrow. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Oh, man. This is what I'll have to do. I'm going to have to do this live on the air because I forgot to do this. So lots of professionalism here. Let's see. We are going to go there. There you are. There you are. How's it going, everybody? This is the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. Hope everybody had a really swell 4th of July weekend. It's still going on for many of you. Are off this Monday. Many of you have gone back to work. Many of you live in states that have been back to work and never really closed. It's kind of new for us Clownifornians, so you'll have to forgive us. Well, not all of us, no. Just the ones who have a brain, which is, there are some very good Californians. We're just outnumbered, folks. We're outnumbered 1,000 to 1 at this point. So what desecrations happened to our wonderful country over the weekend? There was the typical Twitter nonsense. You should learn the true history of America. Well, I mean, let's learn the true history of every country. Every country, every civilization was built on blood. Doesn't mean, and dead bodies and all that. And it doesn't mean it's okay. It just means we learn from it. And that's the one great thing about our country is we were really moving in the right direction. We weren't there yet. Progress, not perfection. And we're not going to get to that perfection in our lifetimes or our grandchildren's lifetimes. But it doesn't mean you tear everything down if it isn't going fast enough for you. But unfortunately, we're getting outnumbered on that front too. And a lot of that, is thanks to Joe Rogan mentioned this. We played the audio clip on Friday Night Tights a couple of weeks ago where he talked about the entire industry being like-minded in Hollywood. It's a virtual impossibility. It's a virtual impossibility that the entire big tech industry is all like-minded. And now it's melded into our government workforce. Largely, I'm talking outside of politicians, our government workforce, which is all like-minded. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit and power. And a lot of that has been helped by our propaganda ears in Hollywood. That's not a word, but, if we're making up words like antinormativity, I can make up fucking words too, okay? And Hollywood has become pure propaganda. But I want to start with a little good news before we greet everybody. I want to start with a little good news. One of the, and I don't know if this is a word either, wokest shows out there was canceled today. Lovecraft Country is not getting a second season. I know. Tried to watch the first episode, didn't get halfway through, switched it off, race baiting crap. Sure, there's a good story anywhere, right? There's a good story anywhere. I'm not sensitive to stuff. I am aware of our history and how crappy it's been in places. But it was just there. It was like Watchmen. It was just there for race baiting. And I guess they adapted the whole first book in the first season. And they were going to give a second season a shot. And it was going to be called Lovecraft Country Supremacy. And it didn't get picked up. It didn't get picked up by the Casey Bloys, the very woke Casey Bloys over there at HBO. And, oh, wow, WG, I'll get to you in just a second. Thank you. And welcome, everybody, for the very woke Casey Bloys. It was, and you want to know why that shit's not going to get picked up? Now, there are exceptions to the rule, and we're actually going to get to many of them. But, well, there's a new regime, obviously, and Hollywood's going to be taking a whole new attitude towards that regime, like overnight. And somebody brought it up in a super chat in the Square Up that there's this misconception that there's some kind of mandate going on right now. And there's not. There's clearly not. Mandates happen when there's like landslide victories in elections, and that didn't happen. So they're misreading the tea leaves again. Will Hollywood wake up? I don't know. We had Quentin Tarantino saying what he did. We have Joe Rogan saying that. But, I mean, that's not a surprise. We need more people speaking up who were like a Carrie Smith. Carrie Smith was part of the cult and got out of the cult, recognized what it was, and has now become the cult's biggest antagonist, one of the biggest antagonists out there, because she knows how they think, knows how to connect on an emotional level, knows things we don't know. We need more of Hollywood to stand up and do that. And in this era of social media, I think that could happen. You piss off the wrong actor, you piss off the wrong writer, and they will turn on you, especially when they didn't really believe all of the bullshit and all of the identity politics, intersectional feminism, and now CRT, and the veil comes off after a good betrayal. And that's what we have to hang our hopes on right now. There was Gina Carano speaking out, and yeah, people were pissed about that behind the scenes. I really can't say more than that, but a person was pissed off behind the scenes, but they can't say anything. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But first, let's see who's here. I'm going to read this right away. WG, thank you for $100. My God, WG. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You guys lighting it up already in the morning. And what's up, Culture Casino? How's it going? Hail, Captain Nerdrotic and Nooner Faithful. Heretofore, I think any super chat over $99.99 should be called a super duper chat. Okay. Speaking of which, wow. I tried to do my best Grace Randolph there. Wow. It looks like I'm 1 cent over, so all Bravo Sierra aside, keep up the great work. Thank you for the super duper chat, WG, for $100. Grace is making a triumphant return. So yeah, I was gonna make a Loki video. It was almost done, and it's probably just gonna be part of my Loki season review, or you'll see it tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Culture Casino. I am sure National Pravda Radio is more than happy to grovel at the feet of the globalists that fund all things propaganda, including Hollywood. And that's what I'm going to call it from now on. And I don't know why I haven't been, I think I'm pretty good at sticking with my, the MCU and the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen. And how come I haven't been saying Hollywood just all along? Thank you, Culture Casino, for $5. We got $4.99 right here. Jake Skywalker, $4.99, who still is in existence, guys. How long till they cancel the Constitution BC of misogyny and lack of inclusivity? Because of misogyny and lack of inclusivity. Well, they're trying. They are day by day. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts, and that's what they have been doing. They go after Tolkien here. They go after Star Wars there. They go after a statue here. They go after one government institution decides to implement pronouns here. Oh, the entire teachers union votes for CRT in public schools. It's happening. And now it's time for the working class in this country, who everybody is trying to win the hearts and minds of, to stand up. If you enjoy freedom, if you want to be able to choose where you work, if you want to be able to choose where you live, if you want to be able to own your house and live out the American dream, which everybody has an opportunity to grab if they want to work for it. Or you can have the communist dream, which is bare minimum, a life of gray, a life of mundane. You're told what to do every moment. And say if you have cancer, it will, the state will decide how bad your cancer is and whether you're worth saving or not. Of course, that's the end of the road, but that's where it would be. Things like that, nightmares like that. Thank you, Jake Skywalker. Over my dead body, do they cancel the Constitution? Rough Girl, what's up? Oh, my God. Took some time from skydiving to what's up? Yeah, Rough Girl has been around this channel since I had like 30 subscribers, folks. She's a skydiver. She will do something I will never, ever, ever do. Jump out of a perfectly functional plane. I don't like flying, and I definitely don't like, I've risked my life enough. I've actually flatlined a couple times, so I figure I jump out of a plane, my chute's not working or something. I always thought Cap motivation to fight was to make the American dream real, not the source of depression, but I am just a South American guy. I guess I have to thank Marvel for clarifying that. Gonzalo Bergali for 150 Uruguayan pesos. Thank you so much. Let's see who's here now. We're going to get to Captain America, and I will respond to that. We're going to get to Captain America. Captain America's dead, folks. Captain America died at the end of Civil War. He got plugged, and he just never came back. That's the way I look at it. They should have kept Bucky as Cap at that point with Brubaker run. That was such a good run. It got really good before it got really bad, folks. Comics in 2005. I mean, it did set the stage for a lot of this shit, but it wasn't bad then. All right, so who we got? We got Dr. Dave. We've got Anono Moss, David B, Dimitri. How are you, Adrian? I'm trying to figure out that name. Legatus. Falk, Zad, Undead George Washington, Nicholas Horton, TJ Rowe, Loki Life, Proven 22 times, Randomize, Lord Thoth, Lisa Roberts, Mick Bright, JD Cox, the R, and I need somebody to Rob Atlas, Rover, Fan Dad Menace. Oh, how am I? Okay, I got to stop this one. It's Bob Bug with one eye. Bob. Okay, so Bob Bug with one eye's king is king. Okay. James McDonald. Hail, Gary. Hail to you. What's up? Hail, chat. Look at this. Nat Peloso. Angry Panda. Would that be the premier of China? Yeah, Hong Kong is fucked. What's up, Vigilante Williamson? How you doing, VW? Good to see ya. Go check out his channel. Dinus, McBright, and Claude Parrish. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Rough Girl, I can't believe Loki is that bad either. Loki should have been the Doctor Who of Marvel. And that's that scene where he's DB Cooper was just filmed for the trailer. It was just filmed to make it look like a time-traveling romp, and then they've got that little scene where he's president too. And what it did was it set the stage for a show that should have had an unreliable narrator. You shouldn't have known what time you're in. At this point, it should have been nonstop action and fun. And Loki just effing people over left and right. And what we got is sitting at tables and talking about our feelings. Now, I know some out there have said, hey, I don't need action to my superhero. Yeah, I do. I don't need my superheroes sitting around talking. I don't need character studies of my superheroes. Let's get to the, let's get to the bottom of Loki's depression. No. There is a million dramas about that. All right? I don't need to see Loki cry constantly. He has been told he's scared. What was it? 3 out of 4 episodes. He was kicked in the balls over and over again. I wonder what they're trying to tell us. I wonder. They bring back Jamie Alexander, Lady Sif, who everybody likes, and fucking waste her on that. Like, that's what they bring her back for, to kick Loki in the balls. You showed us, Marvel. You showed us. You passed the Bechdel test or whatever the hell it's called. And now nobody likes your show. But my God, they're making this shit for each other now. That's all they're doing. They're so they can talk about it. They're going, oh my God, it was so powerful and amazing what you did with Loki. Such a brave turn to hit every freaking notch on the Bechdel test. I mean, who would have thought of that? Oh, I don't know. Probably activist, hack, comedian writers, because that's all they can write about. I unfortunately have gone down the rabbit hole of listening to some Basha K. Ali podcasts, which make NPR sound exciting. She's got a lisp, and she's got this comedy that starts like I am a feminist, but I still like porkies or something like that. And I guess that's supposed to be funny. So you hear all the feminists going, it's fucking terrible, as Charles Barkley would say. It's fucking terrible. And I listened to like an hour of it, and it's really hard to stay sober after shit like that. I just got to say, I said some serenity prayers, called my sponsor, went to a meeting, cried a little bit, but it's okay. It's safe to cry in meetings. Came back. But Jesus Christ, sorry, Father, but feminist podcasts, how many people are listening to the feminist podcast? Come on. How many people were watching the Tolkien Society, Tolkien and Diversity, which wasn't the easiest thing to find? It was a Zoom meeting. So, China, by the way, folks, don't use Zoom. Do not use Zoom. The Chinese government is spying on you and using all your fucking data if you go on Zoom. Don't use Zoom. I'm not saying this is much better, okay? But it's not Zoom. I mean, okay. So, yeah, they used the Zoom meeting, and they didn't put it on YouTube anywhere. It was 4th of July weekend. I was going to go to the comic store with Junior. Eric K., bless his heart, tried to wake me up early. I was dead asleep after Friday Night Tights. So I went there, and it was over. It was over on the first day, so I'm like, fuck it. So hopefully they'll put it up. They put the 2019 seminar up on YouTube, so if they put it up on YouTube, I'll review it. But I asked around. I talked to John F. Trent. I talked to Lady Gravemaster. None of us caught it, so we're going to catch it later, and we'll let you know. But good news. If a Tolkien and Diversity seminar happens and, if it's held and no one sees it, did it actually happen? No. So there was no danger of anybody actually seeing this of any influence. I doubt anyone any creative from Amazon Prime was going to spend more than 2 seconds trying to look at this thing. So there's that. But it still exists. It's the Tolkien Society itself betraying and selling out Tolkien, which is a desecration. It is the scouring of Tolkien. The desolation. I'll use Just Some Guys title. The desolation of Tolkien. Just Some Guy has been on top of, I think, and so does Lady Gravemaster, and I've done my part. This is what we do. We try to bring this garbage to your attention that they don't want you to see. This was all supposed to be to their little group of friends. And they thought they were safe, We need to consistently get this out to the public and talk about it. amongst the general public of any side politically, any make, shape, or size. Don't care how you identify. I think the one thing we all have in common is we love freedom, free expression. We generally want to be left alone by our governments and not told what to do. I think that's the vast majority of this entire country. And we want our roads to be fine, but beyond that, like, leave us the fuck alone. And we just want to enjoy our stories, but now it's creeping into everything. So for people who think that this isn't happening still, there are still a few out there. For people who think that, alls we do is point this stuff out, we have to. If something good happens, I will report it to you. Something good did happen, and I will report it to you in this live stream. If we get a good television show or movie, I'll tell you. I'll be the first to tell you, and I'll be fucking happy about it. I watched Tomorrow War. It was fun. It's fun in the same way like Independence Day is. It's not as good as Independence Day. Not that Independence Day is good, because it's not. It's fun, but it's not a good movie. This isn't a good movie, but it was fun. If you think about it for 2 seconds, there's not a lot of logic there, but there is kind of a good dad story wrapped up in it, and that's what got me at the end. So I'm like, I didn't regret watching it. It's definitely a straight to streaming movie. I think Chris Pratt can be a leading man, but would be under normal circumstances. He and Henry Cavill would be the biggest stars in Hollywood right now, but they're not because they're white. So, yes, we have to continue to call this stuff out. No, it's not fun all the time. We try to laugh and make fun of it. That's the best we can do. And I do think we can win. I think the tide might be turning a little bit because it's gotten so ridiculous, and Hollywood has become a fucking parody at this point. Hollywood has become a parody at this point. But there's still tons of work to do. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. As it stands right now, forget everything you've heard. Only go off of what you have seen. What you have seen. The actions of the company and what you have seen. Forget everything out. Clear it out of your mind. What shape are these fucking franchises in? Well, Doctor Who has a horrible season 13 coming up. That's going to double down on the Timeless Children. As it stands right now, the second to last episode we saw was The Last Jedi of Doctor Who. No hope of this thing turning around anytime soon. Star Trek. Kurtzman has had Star Trek for 5 years now, almost 4 or 5 years, whatever. Hasn't managed a single good episode. I could say they might have managed a moment of Star Trek, but it was brief. Not turning around anytime soon. Star Wars, what do you got? A Bad Batch cartoon, which is a derivative of Clone Wars, which is going to play great to hardcore Star Wars fans, and normies are not going to give a shit about it. Your most successful show is essentially on hiatus because you fired one of its biggest stars that you were going to put in another show, possibly pissing off your creator, and it might be a completely different, it probably will be a completely different show when it returns in 2 years, or a year and, we'll say year and some change now. Hasn't gone in front of cameras yet. Long way off. It's a long way off. And the most promising thing you have is a collection of anime shorts. So you went from, oh my God, Han, Luke, and Leia are going to be back in a fucking movie to, we got some anime shorts, and since they're not being made by Americans, it might not be woke. That's what your franchise is. Power fandom. Power fandom. We will go to Captain America. Let me get these right here. Mexican Iron Man. Hail, my great brother from another geek mother. Gary is truly the Captain America of our favorite fandom, stories, and franchises. Go fight. Win, bro. Hail. I will try. Every ounce of effort will be put into trying to turn this thing around, but I can't do it without you guys. So it's a we. This is a we thing. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man, for the $49.99. Ahoy for 50 Australian dollars. First ever donation. Oh. I'll be gentle. All I can say is thanks so much for all the great content. Keep fighting the good fight. You are the best, mate. Oh, you guys are the best. I'm just a idiot with a microphone. The Kiwi heel versus babyface, $4.99. Gare Bear, I proclaim all super chats less than $5 be called not so super chat. I can't do that. If so, I'd be a pro. Hail Nerdrotic and the Nooner. Every super chat is a super chat. Thank you very much. The Kiwi heel versus babyface. And you know what? We miss Az on Twitter. Twitter's fucking boring without Az and Perry. Perry's gone too. Matter of fact, I still need to talk to Perry. I need to talk to you. Yeah. Twitter's boring now. Well, Twitter was boring before. But I just kind of... All right, so we've got this Captain America thing that we're going to get out of the way. Then we're going to talk about Loki and stuff. Stuff. Where did the article go? There we go. Now, I put up a video up on Twitter on Saturday. I went to Southern California Comics, which is owned by my good friend Jamie Newbold. And we bought a stack of Bronze Age, which is right to the left of me, right down there, which I'm going to bag and board on Real BBC tomorrow. Some freaking goodies in there that Junior picked out. And, got a decent price on them. And, that normally would have been my money spent on new comics. So I bought new comics regularly since I was 5, right? Since I bought my first comic at a 7-Eleven on San Marcos Boulevard for still only 25 cents. Marvel Team Up 42, Spider-Man, and The Vision. And Wanda was in it too, the Scarlet Witch. And then the love affair started. It was the perfect medium, and started collecting comics probably around 8. Bought them regularly. My mom got me to do chores and everything because she would just dangle, if you don't do that, we're not going to the comic shop. That she dangled that over me all the time. So I was very well disciplined when it came to going to the comic shop. Professor X's Comics in Oceanside on Highway 101, and then the Coronet Newsstand. So those were the two places I shopped. Coronet Newsstand is where I bought the Teen Titans X-Men crossover off the shelf. It's where I bought the Death of Captain Marvel off the shelf. It was a newsstand. See, we used to have these things called newsstands where they'd sell, newspapers from all around the country, all the magazines, all the Playboys, all the penthouses. And the Playboys and the penthouses were strategically placed right next to the comics. So you'll be all, and you're all looking down at the covers at least, trying to be subtle. Hey, I knew very early on that I was super straight. So back then, Captain America, represented America. He represented the people, never the government. Always understood that. He represented what was best about this country. And even when they brought him back during Vietnam. So it was always this weird, controversial choice that, and we always understood that what Steve represented, right? Well, now they've taken it like the CRT, the two Americas, which, I'm not going to say there are two Americas because there's a side that doesn't like America. So there's America and there's something else. Yesterday I put up a tweet of the American flag, and I changed it to "May the wings of liberty never lose a feather," that's a good 4th of July. It's on the nose, but it's a good 4th of July thing for me. But I was going to put, "I'm looking forward to moving to America," because where I live isn't America anymore, Marvel reveals Steve Rogers no longer believes in the American dream in first issue of the United States of Captain America. And the first thing I think of is like, what would happen if somebody, if I had to sell this in my shop? I would have made a big stink about not buying new comics anymore. I would have just been a back issue toy store. I came close with fucking New 52. I came so close to just fucking shit canning DC because I got tired of Dan Didio lying to us. He's like, we're not going to do weekly comics, and he kept on doing weekly comics. It's like, fuck your weekly comics, dude. Yeah, let's get the chat representation in there. There we go. Okay. Par for the course for oh my God, Spencer, thank you for not repeating the headline. Well, you kind of did, but you did it in a different way, so that's good. Par for the course for contemporary Marvel writing. The premiere issue of the publisher's Star Spangled Summer crossover, The United States of Captain America, has revealed that the original super soldier himself, Steve Rogers, no longer believes in the concept of the American dream. Go fuck yourself, Marvel. See, that's a damn good picture right there. Even with Black Captain America, which I like Sam. If that was the Falcon, that'd be cool. I like Sam as a character. And like I said, when I was reading Captain America, it was Captain America and Falcon. I thought they were just always together. So when Falcon left, I was like, whoa, why? That's his Robin. Like that's, but it was more than Robin, you know? And yeah, I was not happy. I thought they should have always been together. I like that Bucky. That Bucky story was good. Released on June 30th, the first issue of the Christopher Cantwell written and Dale Eaglesham illustrated miniseries opens literally the first page of the story with a solemn Rogers staring out of his Brooklyn apartment and looking back on the past career as the Star-Spangled Banner, or as a Star-Spangled Avenger, beginning with a memory of now iconic line, beginning with the memory of the now iconic line, I'm loyal to nothing except the dream, uttered in an admonishment of a warmongering U.S. military general during an investigation into the origins of jingoistic supervillain Nuke. Daredevil Volume 1, 233. Rogers finds himself in disbelief at how I actually said that once. And there it is. Right there. I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream. Beautiful. Here's the thing about a dream. A dream isn't real, the hero continues. When we wake up, it goes on. So it started here. Rogers finds himself in disbelief at how I actually said that once. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do my new Steve Rogers voice. Here's the thing about a dream, though. A dream isn't real, the hero continues. When we wake up, it goes away, and we're left with this yearning inside, like something was taken from us. Rogers then asserts, at least that's one kind of dream, before mulling on, lately, spending my days in this country as the years march by, I'm starting to think America actually has two dreams and one lie. There's a lot of lies, Captain Rogers. There is a lot of lies. There isn't just one lie. There's 1,000 every fucking day. And if storytelling was really balanced, which it's not, this is proof it's not, one of the biggest concerns of, say, the classic liberal, we'll say, would have been corporate empowerment, corporate oppression, fascism, shall we say, corporate influence in America, and how it's fewer corporations that have all the money and are writing the narrative as we speak. And look who's trying to break it. Look who's going up against that. Fucking Republicans, for the most part. Not the rhinos. Sorry, rhinos and they're all the same. I'm not a fan of the rhinos. Never been a fan of the rhinos. But conservatives, centrists, libertarians, anarchists, for the most part. The ones who actually believe in, I guess, I can't say the true form of anarchy because that could be violent. The anarcho-capitalists of the world, shall we say. Classic liberals are all united in, this big tech censorship and this oligarchy, whatever the fuck it is. That's a dangerous thing. Never gets spoken about. Well, you want to know why? Because they're part of it. They're part of it. So why speak against themselves? So these artists, artists used to be the rebels, but these are the conformists. This is propaganda. This is toting the party line, the company line, big tech's line, Disney's line, Kevin Feige's line. Remember, Kevin Feige runs Marvel Comics now. Rogers then explains the first American dream is the one that isn't real. It's the one some people expect to just be handed to them and then get angry when it disappears, when the truth is it never really existed in the first place. I don't think anybody expects it to be handed to them. I don't know what the fuck that guy's talking about. Continuing, Rogers then describes how Germans have the neat word Fernweh. I can't say it. It means a longing for nostalgic, a place you've never been or a place that might have not existed at all. We have a word for it. We have a word for it here in the States. Americana. Go fuck yourself, Marvel. Go fuck yourself. I see the American dream happening every fucking day, you ungrateful piece of shit. This isn't Captain America. He died. This is Nazi Cap. And why is he cooking? Why are they showing people fucking cooking all the time? This was probably written on a few $1,000 computer. The story was exchanged on 2 phones that cost probably $1,000 a piece. This is pretend. This is make-believe. This comic is losing money for the company. To sell, they would have to sell hundreds of thousands of copies of this book for it to be profitable for the company. They're just making this to set the stage for the MCU and to maintain copyright and intellectual property rights. That's the only reason this is written. It's literally it's not worth the paper it's fucking written on. Thousands of dollars was spent on something that most everyone's not going to read, and if Bounding into Comics and others didn't bring it to our attention, nobody would have fucking noticed it. What, 100, maybe 80, no, maybe 50,000 people in the country are going to read this book. Maybe 60. So why do it? Well, it's to establish canon for the MCU. Every bit of this is to establish canon in the MCU. They're all Loki being bisexual is from the comics. Yeah, from 2008. Or not even, was it 2000? No, that's female Loki. It was 2015? Can't remember, don't care. It's to establish stuff so they can say it's from the comics. But this is all after Feige said, I couldn't find the article, but Feige said, and I'm paraphrasing, we don't need source material anymore. Essentially, we don't need the comic fan anymore. We're going our own way. That's why everybody was all, Sylvie's the Enchantress. No, she's a Loki. They just used her name and a little bit of her character for the show. That's all. Of course, the timekeepers were going to be dumb fucking robots. Everybody fucking knew that. Yeah. But this is how you, oh, he wasn't cooking. He's cleaning. Okay. He was cleaning his shield. The dream isn't real. Taking a sponge to his dirty shield in an effort to clean it up before it's potentially given to the Smithsonian to be put on display, and yet another trite attempt to force some sort of synergy between the comic books and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Rogers goes on to note that this is the white picket fence fallacy that if we're not careful, becomes nationalism and jingoism. Oh, go fuck yourself. Okay, so what you're saying is a black family, a Latino family can't have a white picket fence. They can't have a fucking nice house and a business. Is that what you're saying? You're saying they're not capable of that is only for white people? That American dream is only for white people? You're a fucking racist piece of shit. The words of the Constitution, the sentiments of our forefathers rise above the humanity, the very fallible humanity of these men. I've always been aware that some of them owned slaves and some of them were horrible. But not the words. It doesn't take away the words, because the words I was able to apply to everyone. And that's what they do now. See, most countries, this doesn't happen. Most countries fall into decay, dictatorship. You see, there's always a choice. This is mentioned by Tyrion Lannister in The Winds of Winter when he's talking about bondage and slavery. He says, ultimately, there is a choice. You could choose slavery or death. Every slave has a choice. It's just not an easy one. That's why there's so many slaves. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's real. So people want comfort. People don't want confrontation. People get scared. That's how governments take over. And when we have this bullshit, we have Captain America. Okay, not fucking, the Green Arrow saying this. Yeah, that's in character. That's absolutely in character. Captain America? He's way more nuanced than that. He understands that there's injustice in the world, but shit. In San Francisco, on my street, we were the only white family. We were the only white family, and there was Asian, Filipino, Latino neighbors, all own their houses, all living out the American dream. On 4th of July, they were all out lighting fireworks with the fucking American flag out, barbecuing. That's the American dream, motherfucker. Motherfuckers. We're our best when we keep no one out. A good dream is shared radically. Okay, Captain America would not say shared and then repeat it. Shared radically. Shared with everyone. Shared radically is a girl would say that. Sorry, ladies, but a girl would say that. No man would say that. Shared radically. We get the point. Shared. Shared with everyone. A good dream is shared radically and shared with everyone. When something isn't shared, it can become the American lie. Okay, a dream, you just said it yourself, is something that doesn't really exist. It dissipates when you wake up. That's why There's terms like dreamers because they don't want to call them what they are. They're immigrants. There are people fleeing a horrible fucking country to come here for a better life. The problem is we have systems and rules in check that they need to abide to. And if they're not willing to abide the systems and rules to come into the country, how do we know they're going to abide to the rules of our country? Plus, there's this little thing called a pandemic going on, and that's part of the reason you have borders and do all this stuff. Certainly, better minds than me can figure out a way to, I don't know, process it better, a little faster, but we disrespect everybody who followed the rules and all that shit, in which there's a lot of people. It's a very complex issue that calling people dreamers and just saying, let's go, everybody, that's not going to solve it. It's not going to solve it. And no, the optics aren't good. People are going to get hurt. Well, you know, we're not the world's police. We're not the world's hospital. We're not the world's daycare, although, yeah, we are. Looking upon the pennant of his former World War II division, the Real World 1st Infantry 26th Regiment, otherwise known as the Blue Spaders, Rogers sounds, the lie is a real problem because it comes in the form of an empty promise. A while back, we told the world they could come here for a better life, but too often we turn our backs on them. Instead of a dream, they get handed a raw deal. The first Avenger then shifts his thoughts to the second dream. This one's real, but we don't hold to it, our own. Heck, if we can't even touch it, what the fuck is he talking about? We reach for it. We work, we toil, we struggle, we fight together. We may even reach it, but we never stop trying. That's my dream. Oh my God, this is just gobbledygook. The Smithsonian is putting on a special exhibit called Americans Who Fight, before lamenting how he didn't really love the name because sometimes we fight when I feel like we could handle things other ways. Well, I agree with that. I'm scanning through this. I find myself too often stripped of what I am supposed to stand for. Oh my God. I don't even want to read all this. Sometimes it gets so far away from 1940 when I first got injected that it all seems pretty ridiculous. Honestly, I started to wonder if I divided more than I wonder if I divide more often than I unite. So often a shield can become something to hide behind. I wonder if lately I've been hiding too. This is a Captain America after Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, after Mark Wade's run. He has been burned down to shit. And by the way, it was only a few years ago, every fucking kid in this country at Comic-Con was wearing a Captain America costume like it was a Superman costume. Like he was bigger than he'd ever been. Bigger than he ever been. And what do they do? What do these fucking companies do? Every single fucking time it goes to their head, they think, oh, they're here because of us now. Not because of Jack Kirby and all the people who came before, who created Captain America and built up this beautiful character over years. They're here because of me, Kevin Feige, and my bald Brie Larson loving ass. I know what to do now. And they just deconstruct it and destroy it. Then they go, what happened? The fans are racist. If it wasn't for all the racist fans. Fuck off, Marvel. Die. Just die. Hurry up and die. That's all I can say at this point. I was called a Marvel zombie. I was one of the few store runners, shop runners in California who was a Marvel guy. Most of them were DC guys for pretty good reason, which I'll explain in just a moment. But I was a Marvel guy, always a Marvel guy, always giving DC guys shit. Now, I like DC too. I read just as much DC as I did Marvel, but I just chose the Marvel side because it was fun arguing with DC fans, because DC fans can be, they irrationally love their stuff. They're like Raider fans. You know, they'll know it sucks. They'll say it sucks, but if you say it sucks, anybody who called out the Snyder Cut, man, that was just a taste of what DC fans are. They're fucking crazy, but we love them. And I'm talking hardcore DC fans. I'm talking, I own every version of Legion of Superheroes fans. Marvel was always better. Marvel was always grounded. It had it was the world outside your window. It had more relatable characters. But honestly, it had, for me, better visuals. I'm a visual guy. So Spider-Man has the best costume ever. Period. You can't even argue. Just stop. Best costume ever. Spider-Man and Batman are the two most popular singular heroes. It's a coin flip on, I think Spider-Man's probably more popular worldwide. Here in America, I think it goes back and forth between Batman and Spider-Man. But not lately. Spider-Man's been pretty terrible lately. Batman's been pretty terrible lately in the comics. And when that's their foundation, and when that's been poisoned, it just creeps and crawls its way up and destroys the character completely. And now they're just mantles to be passed around to, once Hollywood gets tired of black people, they're going to go to Asian people. Once they're tired of Asians, they're going to go to the Latinos. And once they're tired of them, they'll, go on to something else. Hollywood is a simpleton child that can only pay attention to one or two things at a time. And that's why they're having a little trouble with they're working through their intersectional feminism phase, and they're moving into their critical race theory phase. But I never thought it'd get this bad. I saw this shit creeping into the comics right essentially when I took over the store, and I read some Greg Rucka and listened to Greg Rucka, Greg Rucka is like one of the most overrated fucking writers ever. Like, they treated that guy like he was Frank fucking Miller. And I'm like, he's not that good. He's really not that good. He's kind of boring, very preachy. I liked Mark Millar. There was a time I really liked Mark Waid, his writing. He had a good stretch of writing. And then, I don't know, substance abuse. I don't know. He's always had problems wherever he goes. And that's why he's never and will never work a day in Hollywood. Like, nobody will ever work with that dude. He's got the worst reputation. You have heard the stories. Well, I've heard the same ones too. But I never thought I'd want Marvel to just die. But this is it. This is like the final desecration. I mean, I've sat through One More Fucking Day and Soy Peter Parker and All New, All Different and forcing Carol Danvers on absolutely everyone, and nobody fucking likes her at all. Killing Tony Stark, cucking him, making him a cuck AI, and now he's a cuck live person in his own book. And this is after they did the impossible. Like, I knew who Captain America and Iron Man were. I knew how great they were my entire life. And it perplexed me. I'm like, I don't know how nobody knows who Iron Man and Captain America are. Because there's a lot of people who didn't. I think more people were aware of Captain America, but not everybody was aware of Iron Man. Then they became like, and Thor, and fucking Thor. And they make them household names, super characters outside of owning Spider-Man and the Hulk, which pretty much, and the fucking X-Men, which we haven't even seen, and the Fantastic Four. And you know what? The party's over. Marvel's X-Men and Fantastic Four will look nothing like they did in the comic books. The Fox versions will be better. I promise you. I doubt they're even going to call them the X-Men. I could be wrong. Kevin Feige came out recently and said they're not going to announce a cast for the Fantastic Four anytime soon. And you want to know why? They're waiting for this shit that they brought in the door to blow over. Well, I guess what? It's not going to blow over until you eject it out of your stuff. That's not going to happen until Marvel has some flops. And I don't mean just one, some flops. They can hide, even if these Disney Plus series are complete failures, the people involved right now are spinning to management that they're success. We're just starting out as a streaming service. It's going to take us a while to get going and getting, 2 million people watching Loki, first episode total. That's pretty good. When it's not, it's fucking terrible for something that costs that much. And that's as many people are going to watch it. I mean, if The Mandalorian comes back and it has Baby Yoda and Gina Carano in it, that first episode probably will get a lot of people watching. I would imagine it would. If they don't delay it too much. Delay it anything beyond 2 years, it's dead. But the MCU, like Loki, should be the most watched show. And I'll say, out of the three, it has more moments that I like in it than any other, but that's purely based on Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. But this is the course of Marvel right now, and it's you can't stop this train. It's going to derail anytime now. I think Shang-Chi will be the least woke movie of the bunch. And do you guys even remember that a Shang-Chi trailer came out about a week ago? You've already forgot. I did too. What's the one thing you remember from the Shang-Chi trailer? If you remember it at all. Oh, the Abomination, a cameo of a Hulk villain that's not even going to be in the entire movie. That is the single most memorable thing from both Shang-Chi trailers. I almost went somewhere that might have pissed somewhere off, so I stopped. And I'm just going to get my popcorn and eat. I'm going to go watch Black Widow in a movie theater. That's right. I'm going to go in a movie theater. I'm going to have my little light and my little notebook, and then I'm going to review it for you guys immediately. I already know. I'll just say everything we suspected. We weren't exactly right, but we were right. Woke is predictable. Woke is predictable. There's only so many things you can do with woke. You can gender swap and race swap. White man bad. You can also race swap and gender swap. You can race and gender swap and white man bad. That's your woke storytelling. It's almost as simple as the hero's journey. Let's get to your questions. Yeah, and I can hear you guys. I can hear you guys. It's like, when is somebody going to figure out that if we just make some entertainment, we don't have to, we're like, with no politics in it whatsoever. But they can't. They can't. And no, it's not that they can and they're just unwilling. No, now they can't. Now we're at they can't do it, because if they could, they would. This is a cult. They drank the Kool-Aid. They've gargled it. They've ingested it. They swam in pools of the nasty, jizz-like Kool-Aid of Hollywood. And they can't change now. Can't change course. A lot of them, we're going to need a new crop of creatives. That's probably what's going to come in. I agree with Quentin Tarantino. I think there'll be a new independent movement, but it's going to be an independent movement through the distribution of Hollywood. Script Doctor brought this up on a live stream. I can't remember which live stream. I just try to credit people's ideas when I hear them. I don't try to repeat them and then take credit for them for myself, which a lot of people do on this platform. Okay. By the way, if you want to know what like really irritates me is taking credit for other people's work. Shit irritates me. Okay, so Script Doctor mentioned in a live stream, which I can't remember, or I would tell you the live stream, that one of the biggest problems with independent television and film is distribution. And it's also one of the biggest problems with independent comic books, quite frankly, and the comic book industry. The comic book industry was propped up by Diamond, period. Diamond didn't have competition because nobody wanted to compete with it. And the owner of Diamond was a big comic book collector. So he made a lot of money. He was able to fill his collection coffers and distribute comics and have a lot of power. A former mailman. That's American dream shit, by the way. And I support that. But when shit went down, instead of getting together, making hard choices for the good of the industry, everybody, and that distribution weakness was exposed. Same thing for independents. The means of distribution are all owned essentially by the corporations. So there's no way around it. So you'll have to distribute things yourself, promote things yourself. And quite frankly, that means coming to YouTube or going to Instagram. And that means you have to become influencer. Ugh. And that has to be part of your thing. Well, you can't just go out and go, I'm going to be an influencer today. Today, I'm going to be an influencer. By the way, I am not an influencer. I hate that fucking word. And I won't use it again. But you can't, it's like going out to make a viral video. You can't. It either happens or it doesn't. You know, shit goes viral. Or it doesn't. So that's the uphill battle. Doesn't mean you don't try. Doesn't mean we shouldn't. We need to be creating an alternative. And I think if you're out there and you want to be creative, absolutely be creative. It's good for the soul. It's good for the soul to be creative. So even if you're making something for yourself, do it. Make that your hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. Make your own comic, write your own novel. Doesn't matter at all if nobody ever reads it. You completed a novel. You can say, I wrote a novel. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say you're a writer, but you wrote a novel. The comic industry will live on. I think it'll be mainly back issues and manga now. I don't know if New American Stories are something that are going to be. They might be passé. Manga is stealing a lot of market share from independent content creators and obviously Marvel and DC. And it's because they can distribute, they can mass produce, and they have the strongest word of mouth I have seen. I haven't seen word of mouth like this since I was 12 with the American comic books, with all the kids at school going, did you read Frank Miller? Did you read this guy named John Byron? Because people used to call him John Byron. They couldn't pronounce his last name, John Byrne. And Dave Cockrum and Chris Claremont, this X-Men, this Phoenix. Phoenix died. Like when a character died, it was like, what? Captain Marvel died. And it was kids on the schoolyard. We're playing football and we're just talking about comics, like word of mouth like that. But times 10. Like I say manga. And there's going to be 9 recommendations right now. That is advertising you cannot buy. Nobody is talking about the current crop of American comics like that. Kids are not reading American comics. Kids are reading the fucking shit out of manga, though. Just walk into any Barnes & Noble. You're going to have a kid or two standing in that freaking aisle while mom is looking for a book or something like that. Or more likely than not, a 14-year-old to 16-year-old Asian girl sitting there reading it. And that hasn't changed in years. And that is the American... See, and now the American comic book industry is scared. You see them? They're acting scared. They should be scared. They thought, you know what, this little independent comic movement, we can beat that down. But they didn't know there was something else coming for them. And the worst thing is the comic shops are finally going, okay, even the ones who fucking like me, I was like, hold on, I'm not going to waste shelf space on something I don't read or don't understand. And my God, does it take up a lot of shelf space? Well, comic shops are now perfectly willing to do that. So for all intents and purposes, it's over, you know, and then this is what they come out with. I hate to agree with Gail Simone, but she was right in one instance. During the pandemic, Marvel and DC should have come together and made the biggest event ever. Get all your fucking all-stars, top 5 all-stars, and you do a massive crossover. But not only that, Marvel and DC get your 5 top writers and artists, each create new characters, give them time, give them money, give them a fair piece to create new characters that everybody's going to like, that's not just based on fucking race and gender and all this bullshit, like actual fucking superheroes that you can make movies out of in the future. You can still do it. It's still possible. The new crop of creators isn't going to give and I don't blame them for, because they don't get paid shit. I wouldn't give my ideas to fucking Marvel and DC. Fuck no. Are you kidding me? No. But if Marvel and DC was, I don't know, not so just shark-like greedy all the time and say, listen, we'll give you half of the character. You know, Marvel and DC, well, you know, it's like, we'll give you half of the character, you know, half the merch rights. That's enough for the company to make money and to incentivize the creator to play along. But they can't do that because when you have a giant corporation like that, it's always has to, we need to maximize our profit to the penny. And if we can't get everything we want, we won't do it. Too big to succeed. Too big to succeed. Too big to make a compromising human decision. That's why corporate capitalism, not the biggest fan of. I love, sole proprietorship, where you can talk to the owner. I think that's the perfect kind of capitalism. And everything I do in my life now, I try to support a small business and try to avoid a fucking Target or a Walmart. I mean, I'll go in there if I have to. And listen, being in San Francisco for 18 years, there's no Walmarts. Closest Walmart's like Oakland. It's like across the bay. Walmart is not welcome in San Francisco. Neither was Chick-fil-A. So I ate a lot of Chick-fil-A when I got down here. And I went to Walmart a couple times because it was special. But then it became not so special. Marvel is, we got the wrong mouse. Here we go. Tracy Wilborn for $5. I haven't watched any of the D+ trash, and I'm not going to. The MCU and pretty much all the shows that I used to watch are now dead. It's really quite depressing. It really is. The MCU was the last standing franchise, and I told you guys this on Friday Night Tights, and I was talking to Jeremy. I'm like, Jeremy, I just finished watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and dude, it's light years away from what it used to be. I don't know how many of you have watched a Marvel film recently from the Paramount era, by the way, and we'll say the Perlmutter era. And I'll say it right now. Ike Perlmutter Marvel better than Kevin Feige Marvel. Period. End of story. Not even debatable. Quality of films. I don't give a shit about how much money the film made. Quality of films. Ike Perlmutter's Marvel was better than Kevin Feige's Marvel. And for the most part, Paramount's Marvel was better than Disney Marvel. Captain America First Avenger, one of the most underrated fucking movies there is as far as superheroes. That is absolutely one of my favorite movies. That is a superhero movie. Directed by the same guy who directed the underrated Rocketeer. Sorry for the long pause there. I was looking for my mouse. Jamie Fox, thank you for the $5 donation. Stephen, I appreciate that. Stephen T for £5. Hail, Gary. Here is a $5 I made with altcoins. Peace. Hey, thanks. What's an altcoin? Is that like some Dogecoin? Is that like some cryptocurrency? I'm such a boomer when it comes to crypto. Somebody's going to have to explain cryptocurrency to me. Maybe my oldest son can do it. The Invisible Man for $2. I mourn the idea of MCU, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. What could have been? Oh, greatness. Greatness. I mean, Disney, you could cast an all-white Fantastic Four. And you know who would bitch? The Mary Sue? Maybe Bleeding Cool? Essentially, no one. No one. And you know what your movie would make? If you just made a straight up Kirby love letter, Fantastic Four, you think Incredibles. That's your template right there. They beat you to it. The Incredibles is a Fantastic Four movie. Just do that. Maybe even get Brad Bird to direct it. Give him a shot. It would just make $1 billion, you know. Biden would say, I am a bad influenza. Stetson's going for £2. Barack Obama, Barack Obama. I just think of Kyle Dunnigan's, the one where he's looking in the bathroom mirror and he thinks he's talking to somebody else. It's fucking great. But the BLT is writing over the murder of Pink Floyd. That's great. It still gets me. That one still fucking gets me. Nuno dos Santos for €5. I dream of a day some billionaire will say, I'll make my own Hollywood with blackjack and hookers. God dang it. I miss the mafia, blackjack and hooker, cocaine days of Hollywood. I think they need to come back in a big way. I think somebody just needs to back up a big fucking truck full of cocaine to Jerry Bruckheimer and Michael Bay and let them make movies until they die. I don't know. Black Intellect for $5. When are they going to announce casting based on their talent and not who they choose to sleep with or the color of their skin? Well, I would going back to who they slept with. I'm kind of okay with that now, as long as it's consensual. Actually, I've never had a problem with that. Skin color, it should be based on merit, and that goes the other way around in a lot of cases too. So, for example, if you are changing the skin color of a character because that's the best actor for the role, then I'm cool with that for a lot of things. I don't need every character who was white in Marvel Comics to be white. Like certain characters, it doesn't matter, you know, like Ned Leeds doesn't fucking matter to me. Think he'd be in better shape, but you know, it doesn't matter. Main characters, they need to look like they do in the comic books. That is your brand. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. It's not Miles Morales. That's why Miles Morales is not called Spider-Man. Eric July has pointed this out a lot. Miles Morales is called Miles Morales. And actually, when you think of Miles Morales, you think of his actual face before you think of his Spider-Man costume. When you think of Spider-Man, you think of Spider-Man. And then you think of Peter Parker. But it's always going to be Peter Parker. Always will be. Captain America always will be Steve Rogers. You know, it was DC that pulled off passing the mantle twice. I think very, very well with Green Lantern and Flash. to the point where people were upset when they brought Barry Allen back, especially because Wally West was a very popular Flash. And Kyle Rayner was a very popular Green Lantern. Like, they could have kept it. It would have been fine. And to some extent, Bucky was a pretty damn popular Cap. Yuri Bezmenov was right back in 1980, 20 to 50 years to reverse what is happening today. The Nick Gore, man, for $4.99. Yeah, and that might be bad news to some people, but what has been happening took years in the making. And it will be reversed, but what we're trying to do is win the hearts and minds of the normies and everybody. I'm not trying to win the hearts and minds of just conservatives or just Catholics. It's not enough of you. We need to win the hearts and minds of your fellow Americans, all of us. Not just the ones we agree with 100%. All of us. Because this is a foundational issue. This is a issue that if it's not resolved, everything falls down. Everything tear down. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The ability to buy private property, to own your home. Basic shit like that. To be able to shop where you want, dress where you want, choose where you live. Be able to travel in between states without some asshole checking your fucking papers. Like, this is the shit we're fighting for. It's basic shit. Healthcare, all those other debates, even immigration. Those debates have been around since I was a baby. They will be around in 100 years. Hopefully we'll work them out someday. They aren't foundational issues. To some, there are others that are moral issues that I don't think we need to worry about. Right now we need to worry about our basic freedom. Our basic freedom. Free speech. Shit like that. Let's work on that, and then we can get to the other sub-issues and argue about those later. I think we need to prioritize right now, because what happened last year cannot happen again, and most likely will. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. It cannot happen again, but it probably will. It could have stopped at any time, by the way. It could have stopped at any freaking time. I'll just say that some of the rules that were placed in California, I didn't abide by a single one. And now, there was places I was kept out of because they were closed, but I didn't abide by, when it came to lockdowns and curfews and all that shit. I went out whenever the fuck I wanted to. Ram Bam 3000 for £5. Captain America literally used to be my favorite superhero. And you're a Brit because you spelled favorite with you and your U's, your favorite superhero. You and your proper English. An unusual thing for an Englishman to say, not anymore. Yeah. You know what? Hey, you know who one of my favorite characters was? Union Jack, because his costume was fucking badass. Wait, hang on. Talk about instant gratification. I got my Invaders books right here. Supervillain team up. Where are the Invaders? Tales of Suspense. Oh, it's a big stack. It's a big stack. There's that. Hell yeah. Look at that fuchsia. I love the Invaders because they had Bucky, they had the Human Torch and Toro. Oh, maybe I don't have a Union Jack. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I like the Invaders. Giant Nazi dominatrix. I will teach you discipline. You've been a very bad boy, Namor. Where is fucking Union Jack? Oh, there he is. That's my boy, right? Fucking there. That is a badass costume. Ah, I remember this. And he takes on Baron Blood. I remember reading this until like it fell apart. This was one of my favorite all-time comic books. So we got Marvel superheroes during World War II with Union Jack taking on a fucking Nazi vampire. Doesn't get better than that. Better days. So yeah, the future is the past right now, folks. Just buy back issues, get your manga and your anime. There will be 50 guys in this chat. If you're like, what should I start with on manga? There will be 90 people telling you where to start, and you're just going to have to decide for yourself. But there are some classics out there, and there's a lot of good stuff. I've never been the biggest fan because I don't like the art style very much. I'm a American comic snob, but I'm open to it now. I grew up on the 90s comics and was always told I grew up during the worst era of comics. I hope they enjoy eating crow now. Iron Buddha 80 for $5. I remember hearing that myself and thinking it was nuts. Absolutely nuts. I'm like, no, it's just different. The late 90s weren't very good for Marvel or DC, but the early 90s were fucking great. Are you kidding me? You know what Image problem was? Image was never going to succeed, but it could have been bigger than Marvel and DC for a little while, and it could have been a real competition for those two. If they had a serious business, if they had just put Todd in charge of everything, maybe. They needed one strong voice. They were too fragmented and too flaky. Jim Lee is incredibly flaky when it comes to his art. So was Rob Liefeld. They didn't finish shit. But dude, I was looking forward to Image books as much as I was to Marvel. Like fucking Pitt. Dale Keown's Pitt was fucking great. The Max, loved it. Loved Spawn. Wildcats. I always thought that was the dumbest fucking name. Wildcats. Let's go, Wildcats. Let's go fight for justice, Wildcats. Fucking dumb name. Jim Lee reminded me of Steve Vai, right? Steve Vai, technically a great guitar player, couldn't write a song to save his life. Jim Lee's the same thing. Don't let Jim Lee write the story. Let someone else write the story. Let him draw it. He's good. But don't let him come up with any like ideas, because they'll be wildcats. Hey, fellow comic shop owners, there's probably two of you out there. We still waiting for Wildcats #2, Grant Morrison and Jim Lee. Yeah, I am too. I remember buying the first copy, and it sold a lot. People were very excited about it. Then we never fucking heard about it again. And now this guy's in charge of DC. Remember All-Star Superman and Batman? Written by Frank Miller, drawn by Jim Lee. And I think we got the 12th issue, 2 years after the series started? Yeah, he's running fucking DC now. This isn't the voice of a character. This is the work of a writer who wants his political ideas to be heard, but nobody's willing to pay for them, so he shoehorns them into comics, says Techno Babbler for $10. You're right, and this is how this writer goes home and justifies what he does in his mind, because he has so much white guilt about the country that he fucking hates. And he can't go home and be grateful. Instead of going home and going, I fucking write Captain America. I mean, this is a fucking dream come true. This is what I have been working for my entire life. This is my American dream. I wanted to draw and write comic books, and now I'm writing Captain fucking America. And what does the guy do with it? He shits on the character, shits on himself. Marvel shits the bed. And all it is ingratitude. One thing about Steve Rogers is he always found the light in the darkness, no matter what. He got discouraged at times, but he always ultimately believed in the good in this country, and the good would always win. Again, there was moments of doubt, but when it came to individuals, he believed in people a lot. That's why he was the best of the. He was essentially the Superman kind of Marvel. Superman is kinder in a lot of ways than Cap. More understanding. Cap can get discouraged, but yeah, that's not the voice of Cap. That's the voice of the writer. You're absolutely right. And he blows his fucking opportunity to write Captain America on the fucking 4th of July by shitting all over America. And dude, can't say you're going to get a lot of work. Maybe he's swinging for the fences to get work at Hollywood. Hollywood's not going to be plucking people from comics anymore. Those days are gone. Look at how much trouble comes with a comic book writer. That Warren Ellis thing. Hey, ladies, that Warren Ellis thing. You fucked yourselves over too. You fucked yourselves over. All you ladies, all you Kelly Sue DeConnick's. You know what Hollywood's looking at? They're like, we're in enough trouble. We don't want to bring these fuckers in now, who obviously are all fucked up and all fucked each other and are all willing to turn on each other at the drop of a hat. So thanks, no thanks. So canceling Warren Ellis basically canceled themselves. And that's the comic book industry, folks. So you're all seeing it. This is the way it's always been. It's always been duplicitous. It's always been cutthroat. It's always been gossipy. They all fucking flirt with each other. They all go out and party, get fucking high, fuck each other. It's been going on forever. And now untalented hacks are using it to get jobs because they're getting older now. These were people who were in their 20s 20 years ago. They're my age. They're all around my age, and they're all seeing that mortality come at them and like, oh, I didn't get my Netflix deal. I didn't get that $1 million like Jim Lee got, and I'm fucking 50, and I only know how to write comic books. Yeah. Scary. And they see Jerry Conway, and they go, ooh, I don't want to be that. Too late. Too fucking late. Let's go over here to chat. Nathan Cinder, thank you for the $19.99. I appreciate it. And Dog Supreme, thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate it. And for $20, we got Teringast for $20. What's up? Hail Gary, hail Nerdrotics, and hail Nerdrotics. What happened today has forced me to find more independent comics and media and also enjoy old stories from earlier decades. I'm loving it. Yes, absolutely. Now, I paid, I got a discount, but I paid a lot for this, and I already have it, but this is my son's, right? So this is going to be son's, but yeah, it was $180. $180. Never thought Invaders #1 would be that much. But then I got, giant size Invaders #1 for, it's $15. It says 20, but I got it for $15. And I got, here we go. Supervillain Team Up #15 for the price of essentially 2 modern comic books now. No problem. I'm going to enjoy it more. $8. So outside of the keys, they're all pretty affordable. And at every time you go to a comic shop and you get a stack, ask for a discount. For one, they're not going to give you a discount. Ask for one. Go, how much are you going to give me off? And negotiate a little bit. And the owner wants to make the sale. The owner will work with you. So you'll save. Sometimes you can save 25%. Sometimes if you buy enough, you could save 50%. But don't forget to ask. What does Robert Meyer Burnett say? You only get what you negotiate. That goes for everything. And at comic stores, they want to make the sale. Believe me. They want them, and if you got cash, they'll give you a better deal. They might not charge you tax either. So, if you're going to go to a comic shop, bring cash. They like the cash, and don't forget to ask for a discount. We're going to go to the donation side, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of Star Trek, I guess. We'll get there. I'm reading this. Oh, I will. Thank you. Hardwick Benthal for $2 says, please read my email, Black Widow postmortem, as soon as possible, and especially before making a Black Widow review. It contains little known info about exactly why certain bad choices are in the movie, which can help you make your review even more thorough. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, I fucking love that. Thank you. I will read it. I can imagine, I can guess, though. I mean, I can make an educated guess, and we'll see if what you say backs up that educated guess. Does that sound right? A lot of decisions are made, like Loki. Loki has become Loki is kind of a Doctor Who show, except Loki's the companion. Loki is the surrogate for the audience. The trickster liar god is just following Sylvia around now. Sylvia is the one with all the information, and the other person with all the information is Boss Girl, Ravano, or Ramana. I'm just going to call her Ramana, basically. So this story about white male Loki, trickster god from Norse mythology that lured you all in to watch this because he's a very popular character, starring Tom Hiddleston. You have a companion Loki walking around in a suit. And his other star, Owen Wilson, has been marginalized and minimized, and now he's gone. And that was the hook into the show, and the show's really about Boss Lady, Body Positivity Time Cop, and Sylvie, female Loki. It was a bait and switch for intersectional feminism. That's all this is passing the Bechdel test. If you don't know what the Bechdel test is, a brief example of it is the Bechdel test is to fight sexism in Hollywood. So you need to have a scene where two women are together not talking about a man. So you get the wine mom scene in the beginning of episode 2, where it's two girls just talking about being friends and totally drinking cocktails at some, Chili's bar and grill or some shit like that. In the meantime, we find out that all of the time cops are variants, and they're human beings with no powers who were able to beat the shit out of Loki, but got the shit beat out of them. I didn't do that right. Got the shit beaten out of them by a 5'2" girl without her powers, because her powers were mute inside the Time Variance Agency. And she was able to walk up walls and do fucking scissor kicks and do her whatever she was fucking doing. And she beat the shit out of 5 of them because she was more dangerous, because she was self-taught. How do you teach yourself magic? I don't know. How did a 6-year-old survive in disasters? I don't know. Doesn't matter. How did Rey survive on not Tatooine without parents? A little girl? Well, obviously the Star Wars universe is the nicest universe in the world. Scissor kicks. That's what it was. Scissor kicks. Tracy Wilborn, thank you again for, I read that one. Thank you for the $5. Phoenix Tangent for $5.99. Hail Gary, sent you an email about a local comic shop in Houston. Suing a Crown Plaza hotel for property damage over several years. Crown Plaza needed clarification about the damage caused, So the shop owner responded by sending it with a comic. I'm a little confused by that. You sent me an email about it. In Houston, suing Crown Plaza Hotel for property damage over several years. Crown Plaza needed clarification, so he sent in a comic. I'll check it out. But whose property got damaged? Did the Crown Plaza Hotel's property get damaged or the store? And how did he stay there? I'm totally confused. I'll check out the email, though. Thank you. Thank you, Phoenix. Russman for $10. Hail, Gary. Happy 4th. And to you and your family. A little gas money for you to move. I thank you, Russman. And I hope everyone had a happy 4th. We had ribs and brats and freaking corn on the cob. It was awesome. Made by Mrs. Nerdrotic. It was so fucking good. Jester of Roanoke for $1. I commented on Twitter responding to the absurd Lord of the Rings article from The Guardian. The usual crowd came out with their ist and their phobe nonsense. It is never going to stop from fighting back while the attempt to ruin Tolkien, they're never going to stop fighting back while they attempt to ruin Tolkien's legacy. Hashtag right out with me. Right out! Oh, we will. It's going to be a long, ugly fight. And yeah, we'll look at that Guardian. That's what we're going to look at that Guardian article in a second because it's just it's rationalization. It's stupid. Tolkien most certainly had gay friends. As a matter of fact, he had a friend who diddled one of his kids. Okay? Which led to much worse things. Tolkien was a very hetero practicing Catholic and most likely did not want any LGBT representation in his story. It wasn't about that. He barely wanted any hetero relationship in the story of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit in particular, not the Silmarillion, not the Unfinished Tales, because that's all stuff that, arguments could be made, never should have seen the light of day. But the Tolkien Society, amen, they're the Tolkien Society. They know more. I'm sure over the weekend they found Tolkien specifically referencing cis-hetero antinormativity or indigeneity or anti-racism. Anti-racism with the dwarves and the elves. See, anti-racism, folks, is CRT. See, because CRT is our country is white supremacist. There are racists everywhere. So you can't just not be racist. You have to be an anti-racist, which means you need to put your superhero costume on and go hunting racists. And you get to make up the rules of what racist is and what isn't. So you could basically hunt whatever you want. This isn't going to lead to a dangerous precedence, and now we're going to teach it in our schools. Parents, if you love your children, get them out of public school. Get them out of public school. If you don't get them out of public school, I honestly don't want to listen to a complaint then about what are they teaching my kid in school? You let them go. There are options. There are a lot of options. Some of them are tough, which means some of us will probably have to give up portions of our life and actually raise our kids and not let teachers do it for us. And this would probably be a better decision. Does it mean that maybe mom's going to have to quit a job or dad's going to have to quit a job or take a second one? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Do you love your kids? Or do you want to deal with, I could play you 5 or 6 TikTok videos, which could be in your future. And you know what? Sometimes those kids don't grow out of it. Sometimes those kids get hooked on drugs and they end up dead and miserable because they're being taught that all their country is a lie. My favorite one was, I think it said, fuck capitalism. Some dumb bird was at a fucking airport. It says, fuck capitalism on her $3,000 laptop. I mean, these people are fucking retarded. They're just fucking retarded. And I have no sympathy for him. If you're that fucking dumb, that's the parents. And you paid $100,000 for a retarded kid. Your kid came out dumber than they went when they went in. And now we're stuck. We're stuck with your emotional, unstable spawn. On the Super Chat side, we got Rebs GTO for $10. It says, all this ink split is just the largest what if mega issue yet. Only it's lame because what if this traditional male character now has tits isn't rad as what if Hulk killed Wolverine. No, you're right. But the entire what if series looks like it's what if Captain America had tits? What if Star-Lord was black? What if, it's like, what if Tony Stark was T'Challa? It's like, what? I don't care. Asked Wandering.network today if Tolkien would care more about representation or work camp style conditions and pee bottles for the workers. Your Muslim uncle. Oh, I know what the answer would be. And they're corporate overlords, by the way. We're talking about Amazon, right? We're talking about Amazon workers. Workers need to be treated right. I'm not going to be all communist and fucking, we need to unionize. No, the fucking corporations, have become so unnecessarily greedy. Like Jeff Bezos can pay all his employees better, much better, and he'd be fine. But they don't, because the other corporations are like, well, that would set a precedent that we can't do. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's called competition. They're in collusion. That's the thing. And the collusion that's been going on for so long needs to be fucking prosecuted. And some big corporations need to be broken up or knocked down. We don't need that many Walmarts. We don't need that many Targets. And they sell the same fucking shit. One's red, one's blue. Digitalis for $20. Today begins my 4th decade on this rock. And my childhood lays at my feet in the partially digested excrement of the woke termites. At my feet, the partially digested excrement of the woke termites. With what years I have left, I'm fighting to leave something to my boys they can enjoy. That's what we're doing. Well, we're fighting our little battle in the culture war is happening here in pop culture. This is a skirmish in the overall culture war. I'm in the culture war. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I'm not in it to bullshit you. I'm not here for the lulz. I don't see you guys as anything other than my fellow fans. You're not something to be weaponized. You're not my mail service. You're not my courier. I'm not your leader. You're not my sycophants to be ordered around. You're not an ATM machine. You're just my fellow fans, and we need to do this together. And a lot of times you have better ideas than I do. So, what we're fighting is it's not about fucking Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Doctor Who or Star Trek. Those are pieces of the puzzle, but the overall fight is much, much bigger. Always has been. We're probably going to lose those. Star Wars, Doctor Who, Star Trek. We are nearing the end for Doctor Who and Star Trek for sure. We're nearing the end. Jodie leaves. Kurtzman contract runs out. It's done. They're not even going to have the desire to bring it back. And if they bring it back, it'll probably be worse. But it's been wrung out, ridden hard, put away wet. Star Wars, Disney is going to continue to fail with it until it just putters out. Or, let me write this down to remember this. I'll tell you exactly how things will go. My speculation. Maybe I should make a video on this. So there's an actor, Taryn Gast, I got that one. TJ for $4.99. It's gonna keep happening, but worse if we don't stand together. It's a million times worse than most realize. We are effed. Yeah, no. Most people are too busy working. They're too busy going about their lives. This isn't a judgment on anyone out there. You can't read past the headlines. You can't read between the lines. That's what we do. We bring this shit to your attention, and it seems dark. And yes, I bring the worst of it. I don't bring everything to you. There's other channels that do that on multiple times a day. The thing I make a video on is different than what I'll talk about in a live stream. So on my live streams, which are Monday and Wednesday and Friday, essentially, I bring you as much as I can, as much stupidity as I can. And hopefully it informs you and it shows like what other facet they're going after, which is everything. They're going after fucking everything. They're trying to make churches woke. That's why we brought Carrie on to talk about the knitting community. The knitting community. It's in every community. It's happening everywhere. What we haven't talked about a lot, which went under the radar because we had Gamergate, is sad puppies. What happened in science fiction? That was a total loss. That was an absolute L. WG for $10. Are you Tolkien to me? Hobbit De Niro, actually excerpt from Amazon Lord of the Rings series. Oh, are you Tolkien to me? Hobbit De Niro. That's a dad joke, but I like it. Thank you, WG, for $10. It's going to keep... I read that one. Thank you, TJ. Viking Insane for 5 Canadian pesos. How long before old Sunny in Philadelphia episodes are canceled for scenes that could be perceived as hateful and brownface? The times are a-changing quick. Not long, Viking Insane. Not long. Thank you for the 5 Canadian pesos. Shiny311 for $5. Just a random stupid question. Do you ever see shadow people in the past drug days? Yes. I have a friend who saw a good friend who saw a shadow person, one of the most credible people in recovery I know, would never lie about this, and has a creepy shadow person story that I'll save for the Exozone. Maybe I'll bring him on to tell it because he would tell it much better because he's a writer. He's an actual professional Hollywood writer. He doesn't write. He writes his own books now, but he wrote for Twilight Zone in the past. Yeah. Devin H for $10. I've been watching all the MCU movies in order minus Captain Marvel, and the difference is clear. Those movies make me want to read the comics, not the sorry excuses for entertainment we see now. Exactly. I went out and got all my all the steel case Marvel I could, right? Somebody sent me this, which was dope. This isn't Marvel, but it just made me think of it. Steel case Weird Science. Hell yeah. Thank you. I fucking love this movie. No, I just the future is in the past right now. Go and pick up your rando supervillain team up. Look at that. And the hate monger. The Red Skull and the hate monger together. Prisoners of Skull Island. It's hard to believe this never made it past issue like 18 or something like that. Or 16. No, it was 18. I liked it better when it was Dr. Doom and Namor. Hi, Gary. My first super chat. I'll be gentle. From Irish Claret for 5 British pounds or euros. I can't tell. Today is my 21st birthday. Thanks for being a shining light in a time of darkness. Any suggestions for a fun comic book? There's so many comic books are fun, but the one that's been in my brain lately is try to find a reprint, or you can get the original copy of the Uncanny X-Men meet the New Teen Titans, Dark Side, Dark Phoenix. Fun story. It's a one-shot. You could probably get it on eBay for $20. If you get like a second print or a beat-up copy. It's a fun book. Get it. You could probably get it on Comixology for nothing if you want to just read it. It's fun. Andy Masterson for $2. Getting late here. See Blade Rider. Getting here late. See Blade Rider. No. Who's the writer for Blade? Is it going to be Dora the Explorer? Hang on. I'm checking right now. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that DCEU rumor, too. No, who's the new Blade? Well, no, the writer for Blade is, isn't it some critical race theory person? Right? I know Ta-Nehisi Coates is not. He's writing Superman, and who was it? Who was the Blade writer? I can't remember. It's going to be trash. And what sucks is the guy playing Blade would probably be a good Blade in normal times. The guy's a good actor. He was good as Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. And then once he died, the story got fucking lame. It got lame. I'm going to read a couple more super chats, and I'm going to give you some good news. All right? It's a little good news. Jamie Foxx, the Jamie Foxx. I like your acting. I hate how you support dictators. Thank you for the $5, Jamie Foxx. I appreciate it. Star Wars is dead. There was no hope for much else, says Sweetie Squad for $2. Star Wars is a no hope. There is no hope. But I do have what they're going to end up having to do. And I've been saying it on this channel since I started this channel. So I'm sure other people have said it, but I have been saying it since 2014, consistently, every year. As a matter of fact, I put it at the end of 4 of my Star Wars videos at 2019, but it's been a long time. And I'm finding out that sometimes you have to kind of remake your videos once in a while. Remake old videos, update them a little bit. To keep the message going, and I think I have an idea for a Star Wars video. Maybe my last. As far as talking about the plot of something, I'm not going to be reviewing Star Wars because I think reviewing helps it at this point. I think me even saying, because if I saw The Bad Batch and I liked an episode, I would tell you I liked an episode. I'm like, it's not bad. There's it. You know what? Then that's me telling you to go buy Disney Plus. You go buy Disney Plus. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't go anywhere. Nothing changes. If I'm positively talking about Star Wars, see, that's what Disney wants. They want people talking about Star Wars, period. They don't care what it is. They fucking love Mike Zero. They love him. Because he gets people talking about Star Wars. He gets people excited about Star Wars. That's why it was perplexing that they went after Star Wars Theory. Now, I don't think Pablo Hidalgo likes Mike Zero or Star Wars Theory, but I think the company loves them because they're a giant free commercial for Star Wars. They get people talking about Star Wars in a positive way. Things could get better. That's it. That's a positive way to talk about Star Wars. I'm not there with Star Wars. It has not earned that with me, and it probably never will. And I feel a little bit like a sucker because you know what? Jon Favreau came in, dangled a Star Wars facsimile in front of my face, and then Gina Carano came in and started speaking some common sense, really wanted to support her, so I went back, and then they fired her, and I should have known they would have done that. I should have known. Because that's what they've always been. They've never shown a sign of being anything different than that. So, I'm not gonna waste my time, because I think going back to Star Wars, liking that thing and supporting news. I mean, like all the old Star Wars you want, whatever. If you want to still be a fan, that's your choice. This is my choice. And my choice is I'm not on this planet long enough to support something that fucking hates me. No thanks. And you know what? I'm not, it doesn't excite me anymore. It's a really drab and boring brand now. Something that was exciting, something that like inspired the imagination of my youth is now basic bitch fucking anime shorts. That's the only thing where it's like, oh boy, anime shorts. Yay. Anime shorts. What about like any actual Star Wars though? Are we going to get any actual Star Wars? Oh, Luke still drinks out of a fucking tit. Yeah. Han Solo died the worst fucking death possible. Is the movie that made the worst creative decisions in the history of Hollywood still exist? By the way, that's The Force Awakens. It's not The Last Jedi. Yeah. No thanks. I think it would be. I think we're better. Our time is better spent trying to save Marvel. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a dark road and it could be a bad year, but they could still turn things around. They are still much more good than they are bad. Is it possible? I don't know. It would be easy. All you would have to do is not go. Not go. Do not go. Yes, I'm going to the theater. Yes, I bought my ticket because I'm an honest, upstanding guy. And yes, I'm going to review it. And they're probably going to wish I didn't, knowing what I heard. But if it's good, I'll tell you. If it's good, I'll tell you. It could be well, no, I can't say that. I know what it is. They've told us what it is. They pretty much Tim Millered their fucking film. But I think the Marvel brand is strong for now. But if we want to talk about like what is in better shape, Marvel is clearly in better shape than Star Wars. Clearly. Star Wars has one good thing going for it in 10 years. And please don't bring up Rogue One. Rogue One was a long time ago. It was a one-off, and it wasn't that great of a movie. The star of the movie was a Kathleen Kennedy self-insert. I am the American dream, but according to Congress, I'm underrepresented and can't read or know how to vote, says Rough Girl for $4.99. Rough Girl, you are the American dream. Yeah, that is. Rough Girl is a wonderful, beautiful female of color, and always has been since the day she was born. And yeah, she's doing pretty well for herself. But according to the current administration and the government, she can't use an app. She doesn't know where to vote, but for some reason, she's figured out how to jump out planes multiple times successfully and help other people do that too. Thank you, Rough Girl, for being our representation. Bad Bill for £1. Thank you, Bad Bill. We think you're good here. Jillian N for $9.99. Your Steve Rogers voice sounds a bit like Michael Jackson. He. That may be fitting, despite the obstacles and negative experience with Mr. Jackson had. He had indeed experienced a version of the American dream. Jillian, he did. And then he experienced the nightmare of crossing the system. If you got to kind of, there's the razor fist point of view, and then there's the guy was a pedo, right? I think there is, because I don't know. I think there might be some nuance to that I'm willing to be open-minded to. It was still really fucking inappropriate behavior. Let's just say if there was no touching, absolutely inappropriate behavior. I don't give a fuck what the parents, you're fuck you parents. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And somebody should have gotten Mike some help or whatever. It is a sad story. No, without a doubt, it's a sad story. And I don't know the truth, and I don't want to get into the debate. I think Razor Fist has done some compelling work on that. I think he's done some compelling work on Bill Cosby. What's important is that our justice system work. And sometimes people get off on technicalities, and that's the price we pay for overall what was a pretty good justice system. But now we have judges from the bench getting political, getting partisan, and that's a problem. So we need term limits on everything, absolutely everything. And one thing I agree with Razor Fist on is we need to change our voting in certain states. In California, we need the electoral ballot in California now. We do. Because pretty much LA and San Francisco run everything. Just wondering if you read my email yet about Gina Carano project. Solander for $5 New Zealand dollars. I will get back to you on that. I will get back to you. Thank you for the $5 Hobbiton dollars. Douglas Nelson for $5. The MCU completely disrespected the character of Sam Wilson. It's sheer idiocy to make a superhero sympathetic for a mass murderer. Doug, when Sam said that Freckle Jesus wasn't like Baron Zemo because, well, it's in her motivation. She wants to murder people to make the world better. Well, that's what fucking Baron Zemo thinks. That's what fucking Hitler thought. That's what Winnie the Pooh thinks. They all think they're making the world a better place. Freckle Jesus was a fucking retarded villain. And that's the villains you're going to get because this is nihilism. There is no good and bad. There's always shades of gray. No, when I go to a superhero movie or show, and when I see the Winter Soldier, when I see Bucky and Falcon, I want them beating the shit out of some mafia guys, some street level gangsters, whatever, a Hydra group. No, they have to make it political. They had to make, and see, it's not just white dudes anymore. It's dudes, period. We've got Shang-Chi. It's a bad dad story about a bad Asian dad. Falcon couldn't fight his own bad guy. He had to get the other bad guy to do the dirty work for him while he sat there and didn't fight. And the same fucking thing just happened in Loki in last episode. The showdown happened after Loki died. Nobody wants to see these characters. Nobody wants to hear these stories. They're just using these to squeeze some more dollars, and they're going to rely on the Marvel stands to come after us every time we notice that shit right away. We're like, this is bullshit. It's not bullshit. Mortis is going to come in, and Kang the Conqueror, and Bo and the fucking Avengers Forever. And no, none of that shit's going to happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Loki is going to be led by his nose by some little Karen, and she's going to be smarter, stronger, faster. She'll know all the fucking answers. She'll be the real Loki, and Loki will understand that, get on his knees, say sorry, get kicked in the balls 3 times. What did we just witness in Loki? The hero's journey. The hero's journey. I'm going to write that out. But by my review, I will have the hero's journey written out. It's pretty easy. Okay, here's some good news. HBO drops Lovecraft, announces second season will not be moving forward. In a statement released exclusively to Deadline, HBO informed that the entertainment trade outlet will not be moving forward with the second season of Lovecraft. We are grateful for the dedication and the artistry of the gifted cast and crew that we just fired, and the Misha Green and to Misha Green, who crafted the groundbreaking series that didn't get past season 1. The network continued, and to the fans, thank you for joining us on this journey. Though the network did not give any specific reasons for the series cancellation, the decision to cancel Lovecraft Country was made because Biden's in office now and they got rid of Trump, based on a lack of quality in regards to the second season script, which, given how the first season covered the entirety of Ruff's original story, would have been based on completely new material. In February, HBO and HBO Max chief content officer Casey Bloys told Deadline that at the time Green was working with a small team of writers, and they're coming up with ideas. She had a book to go on the first season, said Bloys. Of the second season's development, she and the writers wanted to go off and take some time to go out and figure out, without a book with these characters, what's the journey we want to go on. We all want to be sure she's got a story to tell. That's where she is right now, working on those ideas. I'm very hopeful, as is Misha, so we're giving them the time to work. They didn't want to cancel it right away because they didn't want to look like racist. Shortly after news broke of the series cancellation, Green took to her personal Twitter account to share a taste of the season 2 Bible. Here it is. Oh, you can't see that because of this damn ad. The green is tribal nations of the West. The white is the white lands. The new, I can't even say that word. The new, you see that word, republic, and the Jefferson Commonwealth. The sovereign states of America. This is a peek of what they SJWs think America should be now. Just to let you know. This is a snippet of the future, folks. Why don't the indigenous people get all this part? Quick history lesson from a guy who's been kicked out of 3 high schools. There was a people that were a mysterious people who were on this continent a long, long time ago, called the Clovis people. They were believed to be the first people to come to this continent, mostly through the land bridge and during the Ice Age. Well, it turns out that's all bullshit. So the indigenous people just took over the land from the other indigenous people. They're not actually indigenous at all. The indigenous people who were here 100,000 years ago all died out, probably in a cataclysm. There might be some leftovers in the Amazon jungle, possibly. But most of them have Polynesian, they're of Polynesian descent. And it's only a group of them based on DNA in the Amazon jungle. So there are no indigenous people in this country. They were most certainly here first, fighting amongst each other quite a bit. I'm not going to say we, the people who founded this country certainly fucked them over. And that's part of, unfortunately, that was hundreds of years ago. I don't think the solution has been great. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Oh, thank you. Holy shit. And thank you. Oh, I have some new. You could have just told me that. No, I guess this is better. This works. No, you did a good job. I was getting a little parched there. We got some fucking bad news, folks. I got to double check this. Hang on. Breaking news, and it's bad. Richard Donner has passed away, folks. Director of one of my all-time favorite movies, Superman the movie. One of the greatest directors of all time, Lethal Weapon, Omen, Goonies. F's in the chat for Richard Donner. He lived a good, long life. And I will be watching my 4K Superman the movie tonight. And maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll be doing something with the members tonight for this. This is a big deal to me. This guy was as big as Spielberg to me. This guy created the superhero movie. The tone of Superman, the movie, and the Donner cut, which I highly recommend you find and get, the Donner cut of Superman 2, those are all one movie. They are perfection in my eyes. Yeah, even the fucking turning back in time. I don't care. Superman the movie is the greatest superhero movie ever made because it understood the tone, it understood the time, it had the perfect actor, and it was a well put together film. It was of its time, so I know a lot of people think like Man of Steel's better. You would just be young and wrong. Nobody's going to blame you for that. And in some people's cases, probably smoking a little bit too much pot. But outside of that, that's fine. You're okay. It's okay to be young and wrong. I was young and wrong before too. Richard Donner, the prolific Hollywood director and producer who his helming credits include some of the most iconic movies of the 1970s and 80s, including the Christopher Reeve starring Superman, The Goonies, and Mel Gibson's Danny Glover's buddy cop series Lethal Weapon, has died at the age of 91. Donner died Monday, according to his wife, the producer Lauren Schuler Donner, and his business manager. No cause of death has been revealed. I imagine he was 91. The Bronx-born Donner, a genial man with a booming voice, started his career directing for television. Like his film credits, a laundry list of staple shows, including Route 66, The Rifleman, The Twilight Zone. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing his name on The Twilight Zone. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Gilligan's Island, Perry Mason, The Wild Wild West. After his debut feature, the 1968 crime comedy Salt and Pepper, starring Sammy Davis Jr. and Peter Lawford, Donner segued to films full-time in 1976's Spooky the Omen, which is only scarier. Well, The Exorcist is a scarier movie, but The Omen got me too. That led to 1978's Superman, the original superhero movie that starred Reeve as the Man of Steel, along with Margot Kidder and Gene Hackman. The Warner Brothers blockbuster, with a budget of about $55 million, grossed more than $300 million at the global box office, which translates into like $1 billion now. The first movie tentpole, based on a superhero comic book character, it scored 3 Oscar nominations and won a Special Academy Award for its visual effects. It also cast the die for the superhero franchise, now dominated by Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Universe of Films. And remember, they could have had it back then. DC could have had it back then. A dispute with the producers famously resulted in Donner taking his name off directing Superman 2 when Richard Lester was brought in after Donner had shot the majority of the movie. A director's cut of the film with many of the excised Donner directed scenes was released in 2006. I was honored enough to be lucky enough and honored to be at the Comic-Con panel where about the Donner cut. Like fucking front row seats. Got to see Richard Donner, got to see the cut scenes. It was fucking great. That's when Comic-Con was great in 2006 and 2007. It was great. By that time, however, Donner had moved on to other blockbuster success. By the way, I have a signed copy from Richard Donner. Access is all in all the genres, directing Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor in the comedy The Toy, which you probably can't show today, but I liked it. And in the same year, the medieval period adventure Lady Hawk, which I liked, and the seminal kids adventure pick The Goonie, a script penned by Chris Columbus based on a story by Steven Spielberg. There were also another franchise launching movie, Warner Brothers' 1987 Lethal Weapon, in the role that turned Mad Max star Gibson into a global superstar. Donner directed all 4 of the Lethal Weapon movies in an 11-year span, grossing more than $900 million globally. Donner and Gibson would re-team as director and star in Maverick, 1994. Loved that movie, by the way. It was a little hard to, buy Jodie Whittaker as a straight madam, but, it's okay. But that was a good movie. I liked it. And The Conspiracy Theory, 1997. Didn't like that as much. His directing credits also include the 1988 Christmas staple Scrooged, which is a staple in my house, with Bill Murray, and in 1980 drama Inside Moves with John Savage and David Morse, co-directed or co-written by Barry Levinson. That movie I barely remember. As a producer, Donner and his wife produced Deadpool, all kinds of shit, like good stuff. He will be missed. He was one of the greatest directors of all time, one of the greatest TV directors of all time, responsible for the superhero genre. And through that movie, through Neil Adams, he was able to get the original Superman creators a little bit of scratch, which they weren't getting because Warner Brothers fucked them over. And he will be missed. He will be missed. And hopefully we'll get a good, I would love to see the Donner cut, like really, they have the technology now to make that a seamless film. And I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that happen. And have it fully replace the Richard Lester version, which I liked as a kid, but you could, for one, they took the John Williams soundtrack out of it, and it was just fuck. That was all the difference in the world. But rest in peace, Richard Donner. Thank you for giving us the greatest superhero film of all time, and dude will always be remembered. Sorry that chat wasn't moving. But hail Richard Donner, man. Fuck. Oh, Jesus, George. Oh, my God. Is that one? Okay. We're going to keep that up there. I'm going to keep Richard Donner up there, man. George Moilo for $100. Hi, Gary. I prepared for Independence Day celebrations and wake up to discover that Hail Hydra Cap wasn't on another Earth. The Tinseltown SJWs are desperate. In 1 week, the Hollywood machine and the East Coast jet set elite dragged out the big guns. They most certainly did. Let's see if I get number 2. Okay. George Moilo for $100. And thank you for that one. George, number 2, they attacked Tolkien to shred mythical heroism and brand despair on every heart. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to discourage you. Don't let them do it. Then promoted the sexual grooming of kids and chainmail operated kink to produce a generation of confusion and gloom. And we will talk about that in just a moment. Yeah. Because there's somebody who needs to call that out, and they know who they are. And if they don't, then, they're going to, yeah. By the way, I see that. R.I.P. Richard Donner. Hail Richard Donner. Hell yeah. Yeah, they couldn't, there's no way they can make the toy today, but the toy was funny. I mean, buying a black man for a kid's toy, walking around, Richard Pryor walking around in a Spider-Man costume. George Moilo for $200. Oh my God, that's number 5. Hang on. I'm gonna have to read these. Hang on. Hang on. So that was number 2. Give me just a moment. I have to go over here. And refresh that. All right, we're at number 3. George Moilo, number 3, for $50. Says their time is short. They're on the ropes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have attacked the heart of our nation, putting a CRT poster board of hate in Captain America's hand on July 4th, only to have him picket the dream to sell a manufactured lie. I can't tell you how much that makes me mad. On 4th of July. That's what fucking Marvel does on 4th of July. That was worse than Snowflake and Safe Space. That is worse than Snowflake and Safe. Snowflake and Safe Space was a middle finger to the fan. And it wasn't just to like Richard Meyer of Diversity in Comics. It was to all of us. All of us who were calling that shit out. However you feel about Comicsgate, it could have gone better. We'll say it could have gone better. What happened, happened. Drama happened. Splits, divides, channels moved on. A lot of the original channels who were there are long gone. We still got Doug Ernst out there, but Captain Cummings is gone. England Teen's around, but he's not, I don't think he's doing that quite often anymore. And I love comics, good channel. England Teen's a good guy. But it's not the same. It's not the consumer movement anymore. Snowflake and Safe Space was a middle finger to the paying customer. Was a middle finger to the paying customer. This one's a middle finger to America. So, and they have the sheer fucking hubris to do that. I hope there's comic shop owners refusing to sell this book, because I wouldn't. I wouldn't put them on my shelf. And if the customer asked for it, I'd be all, see, this is why I couldn't be in business. I can't sell it. I can't. No fucking way. George Moilo, number 4. For $50. America is the dream, an idea born of primal man. 1,000 generations of struggle, survival, and oppression given breath and life, taking shape and focus 250 years ago by an independent thinking people yearning to be free. And it's only been 245 years, folks. That is a blip in history. That is a geological nanosecond. And look at how far we've come. And people want to tear this shit down? Are you fucking kidding me? This is the only thing that's worked. Look at every other country. Oh, I know they love to bring up, and there's some great European countries out there, and you guys watch, but you all know the score. You all know. Canada knows that the only reason it can be Canada is because we have giant nuclear bombs, and we're their neighbor. Europe is safe because of the giant nuclear bombs, and we're their ally. And they're free to do what they want. They can get as socialist as they want, as authoritative as they want, because ultimately their enemies can't get to them without going through us first. That's reality. If we go away, your Europe will probably look very different. And Canada wouldn't be able to survive. If we go away. Well, we're about to go away. And it's nice seeing, I saw all those people marching in London. That did my heart good. That was a lot of fucking people out there. That did my heart good. Yeah, no, the American dream is still alive. It's still around. For lack of a better term, there's just a lot of pussies who don't want to work. They want their American dream handed to them. They do. They want it just fucking handed to them. Well, it won't be. The only thing you're entitled to is death. George Moylo for $200. Number 5, Captain America was just one of the bearers of the dream for almost 3 generations. It is now up to each and every one of us, everyone of you, to carry his mantle. Never let the fire die. Never let the dream fade. Step up, stand tall, stomp fear. He's right. He's fucking right. It's up to us. It's up to us to make Hollywood better. It's up to us to make this country better. It's up to us to depower a teachers union that's too powerful. It's up to us to make some fucking really hard decisions. And I don't know if there is enough of us. There's a lot of black pills going on right now. Well, black pilling's not going to help, guys. Walking away and saying fuck it isn't going to help. It just means you're going to walk away and say fuck it, and then maybe you live out your days in a cave somewhere. I don't want to live out my days like that. I'd rather fight. I don't mind going to the country. I don't want to be near a city. I don't think it's a very safe and smart decision right now. Except if you want to buy a house in San Francisco in August, then it's a great idea. You should definitely buy a house in San Francisco in August, right? So, but no, we're going to have to take this shit. We're going to have to change it ourselves. We're going to have to do this ourselves. It's just a matter of when enough of us are going to wake up and get off our asses and do the work. Usually that takes a long time. I've told the anecdotal story of when we were getting fucked over on our overtime at Toyota. I noticed it right away because I'm a little obsessive when it comes to my pay, and I've been fucked over before. And, so when I get my paychecks, I check all the math. And if I don't get all the information, I get the information. And when I see that I start getting our stubs were incomplete, and they were for a while. So I'm like, I need the complete information. And they said they would get it for me. 2 months passes. And I'm like, it's been 2 months. Where's the complete information? Oh, we're still going to get it. No, I need it right now. I need it right now. It's state law. You need to give it to me like right now. This very second, I need to see my information. So I got my information. In the meantime, I'm pissing off all of my bosses being so insistent. And I find out that they're fucking us over on overtime. So I get the manager, I get everybody else, I get all the texts, and I'm like, look, they're fucking you guys over to the tune of thousands of dollars over time. Thousands and thousands of dollars. You know what they fucking did? Nothing. Did nothing. Fucking nothing. They didn't want to rock the boat. So I quit. I said, fuck this. I went to Tesla. And what is it? Fucking 6 weeks later, I get a letter, class action lawsuit. And guess what we got? $600. They screwed us out of about $15,000 worth of overtime each. And we got $600. The lawyers got the rest. Fucking geniuses. But if they would have spoken up right then and there, we would have gotten a lot of our $15,000 back. But they didn't, because they didn't want to rock the boat. Because they were worried about their mechanic and parts jobs that they can get fucking anywhere. There's no shortage of those jobs, and there's a shortage of workers. People are scared, man. And that's just one little story of one little thing. Imagine that like 1,000 times worse with voting and taxes. George Moylo, thank you. Spot on. You could tell that man's a writer. Love you, George. You play the Avengers video game. Crystal Dynamics actually does Avengers right. No politics, no social justice. You mean the one with Kamala Khan? Vabent? For $5, the one Eric July was playing? I don't know. I think Kamala Khan leading the Avengers is a little political to me. Because I can't stand that character. She symbolizes SJW Marvel. Dread, not Dread. Damn autocorrect. Neil Oakley says, Dread, Jesus H. Christ. Dread! Yes, Dread is a great story. Dread is a good movie. Gail Simone on social media taking credit for the New 52 jumpstarting the entire comic book industry. Humble. What? What? No, it didn't. She's high. Marvel jump-started the entire industry, and it wasn't even that big of a jump-start, and it was because of the fucking movies. She's fucking high. The New 52 was a fart in the wind. It was just a company she works for, and she wrote some of those books, and it's probably the last significant thing she did. She's a very forgettable writer. Speaking of Mafia, I watched Punisher Warzone on HBO Max last night, and I had tons of fun. I remember people saying it's one of the worst superhero films. I highly disagree. It's not great, but it's a fun superhero action movie. It's better than current MCU. Yeah, I liked it. Ray Stevenson came over to my shop, and we did a promotion for it, and Punisher punches a guy's face in. It's fucking... I like it. It's not great. It's not great. Neither is Tomorrow War. Tomorrow War, like I said on Twitter, was fun. It makes no sense. I just had fun kicking. It was me and Mrs. Nerdrotic kicking it on an air mattress in a giant room with no furniture, watching it on a wall with our projector. It was fun. Hail, Gary. Dread is getting castrated. Thank God they haven't thought of strontium. Am I mispronouncing this word? The strontium dog, but that would have been awesome show. Borag Thung Earthlets. They're going to fuck over Dread. They're going to replace Dread with a Latinx woman. Exactly what they didn't want, but they're forced to do this shit now. So part of the reason they're doing this stuff is the shit's not going to get made with a white dude. It's just not going to get made. So they're trying to rework everything and try to find if a mantle has been passed 5 times down, or if there was a what if story, or if there's an Elseworlds with any kind of POC possible. So that's why we're getting Black Superman and Latinx Dread. And you know what? You know where these are going to be forgotten about 5 minutes after they're released. This is the worst era of Hollywood. We are now in the worst era of Hollywood, period. It's not even questionable. And I'm like, I know the 50s were considered the worst era of Hollywood, even according to Quentin Tarantino. No, this is the worst era of Hollywood. I mean, I think I've seen 1 or 2 good things this year, objectively. And the Snyder Cut, it was just because it's a superhero movie, and I'm not even counting that. I'm talking about Nobody and Superman and Lois. Joachim Stark for 50 Swedish krona. Good entertainment. Here, have some money. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 50 Swedish krona. Hail, Gary. Richard Donner has just passed at the age of 91, says Nicholas Horton for £5. Thanks for letting us know, Nicholas Horton. When Star Trek debuted, I was stoked. Prior to that, all we had was Brad Corbett Space Cadet. Now I see how meh it was. I would probably take Brad Corbett Space Cadet. Chris Persia for £5. Thank you, Kate C, for $15. You might want to amend the title today's nooner, including R.I.P. Richard Donor. I will on the re-upload, by the way. I most definitely will. Watch Batman: The Long Halloween. It wasn't at all woked up and reminded me of things that I loved about Batman, the animated series, and great Batman stories in general. Hail Nerdrotic and hail Godzilla. Mizit Wizard for $20. All right. On your recommendation, I'm going to watch it. And if it's woked up, we're going to have a conversation. But I will watch it. I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Okay, I'm going to amend the... Hang on. I'm going to change the title. Oh, where do I put it? Here we go. There, done. Title changed. Okay. Real quick. Before we go, I got to we got to talk a little bit about Star Trek. Like, for once, nobody cares about Star Trek anymore. I am utterly shocked I got 100,000 views on my Star Trek video. Like, didn't think I was going to get half that. But thank you. Thank you. And yeah, you will be getting a lot more videos this month, by the way. With the help of Perry Chan. Where is it? PJ from Orville Nation had an interview last night that I caught part of. Okay. I will just say I knew this interview was going to happen. I won't go any farther than that. We were trying to coordinate something, but the holiday weekend happened. And yeah. So PJ had an interview with, so I need to go over some of that. But he also had an interview with another, here it is. It's this from a couple days ago. I think Nina Infinity was there and everything. Want to talk about what's going on behind the scenes at Star Trek. So Star Trek sucks. We all know Star Trek sucks. Damn it. There we go. That's what I want. All right. What's up, Dan Vask? Oh, we got to talk, dude. We haven't talked about our song, our ditty, in a while. We got to talk. Hail Dan Vask. Let me get this over here. All right. Dark Matter actor Andrew Moody. Dark Matter actor Andrew Moody explains what makes good science fiction writing. Well, it's not Star Trek Discovery. And it was, did they mention it in this article? Maybe they don't. Hang on. Dark Shadows. Well, we'll just use this as a visual aid, and I will go over it, because most of you have heard the story already. So, he was working on, I believe, season 3 of Star Trek Discovery, and somebody didn't like his scene, and he had to do some of the, he had to go in and fix the audio. I'm completely forgetting what that term is called. It's something or other, but it doesn't matter. And they didn't like his performance, and I guess he bailed. He bailed, or he got sent packing. They're going to have somebody else do his voice. And he said that Jonathan Frakes was fine to work with and all the other people, but he said the people at the top, the writers, the showrunners, the Alex Kurtzmans and Michelle Paradises, sweet little Michelle Paradise. Yeah, they're monsters. They're fucking monsters. Now, we remember what happened to Walter Mosley, who told an anecdotal story, dropped the N-word, and they wanted him to go through the humiliation of going to HR. Fucking Walter Mosley. We've also heard of Anson Mount getting into a little scrape with people. They've gone through showrunner after showrunner after showrunner. And now I'm just going to leave this in the realm of rumor. Okay. So take it with a grain of salt. It looks like they're hiring. They don't have any ideas because they don't know what Star Trek is. They don't understand Star Trek, nor will they take the time to figure out Star Trek. And what they're doing is mining other people's ideas. They are, in my opinion, what I've heard, pure speculation, stealing other people's ideas. And you get this hodgepodge smorgasbord of shit called Star Trek. And they're getting possibly these think tanks together or some kind of writing units. I don't know how it works. And consultants, and they're mining their ideas and then not hiring them permanently or paying them properly or just saying thanks, and which might be legal. I mean, there's nothing wrong with we're going to hire a think tank for ideas, get your ideas, and then peace out. We'll pay you a little bit and peace out. So maybe they thought they should be paid more. I don't know. Maybe they thought they had rights to the idea. I don't know, but that explains a lot. You see, because, for those of us who have watched every episode, this show is the worst written shit I've ever fucking seen. This and Picard. Anything with Kurtzman involved is utter shit. And it's utter shit because it's pretty clear after Roberto Orci and him had a split that Kurtzman can't write. Orci was the writer. Kurtzman might have been the buddy who was connected to Abrams, but he's not really a writer. And we can tell now. We can tell that he's a fraud. He's a giant fraud, in my opinion, and he just rips off people's ideas. That's all fucking Star Trek Discovery Season 1 was, and that's all Season 2 was, and half of what Season 3 was. Ripping off other Star Trek ideas, in my opinion. Ripping off video game creators like the Tardigrade, in my opinion. Ripping off other video games. Ripping off concepts. It's creative bankruptcy 101 by the chief hack, Alex Kurtzman. And this guy just gave us a little peek into the window of that shit. All he essentially said was the people at the top are freaking horrible. People are afraid. They're scared of him. Why are you scared of Alex Kurtzman? If you're a man and you're scared of Alex Kurtzman, take your hand, stick it down your pants, take a grab, see if your balls are still there. If they're not, then you're not a man anymore. Why would you be afraid of that little fucking, I mean, the dude's he might be on the spectrum. Something a little off about him, we'll say. I don't care. That's fine. He's really bad at Star Trek, and there is no turning it around. There is no turning it around. I can't wait to go to the Star Trek convention with the I Stand With Vic shirt on, which I am going to do. Because Vic Mignogna got kicked out of the Star Trek convention, by the way. So I think we might be hearing more stories like this. Again, I didn't get time to listen to the entire interview yesterday, and I don't know if this person works for Star Trek or just, there's a lot of stuff going on. People do contact me, not that much when it comes to Star Trek, but they contact me. I've talked to a couple people. One of them, I am never allowed to say what I've heard. So it's not even going to bother even hinting at it. And the other one, I can't prove work there. I can't prove has any connection to them at all. So I'm not going to run with the stuff. It's not worth it. I've seen enough. I don't need any inside information. Star Trek Discovery sucks. I've watched every episode twice. It sucks. The Federation dies because a retarded Kelpian misses his mom and has a temper tantrum, and it blows up all the active dilithium, and it destroys the Federation. Kind of retarded storytelling. I don't need any inside information for that. Oh, and Strange New Worlds, that's gonna fuck up Star Trek in strange new ways. In strange new ways. But you know what? Props to this guy. Props to Andrew Moody for having the sack to come out and say something. We need more Andrew Moody's. I don't care what his politics are. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. We need more people like him. Listen, Kurtzman, I can tell you this. Kurtzman does not have a good reputation amongst his peers. I can state this for absolute fact. And someday I'll be able to tell you who said what and what they said, because it's funny. But totally unconnected. I can't wait for the Orville season 3. I cannot wait for the Orville season 3. Someday we'll get it. Fuck Star Trek. All right, got to read a couple more questions. I got to get the hell out of here. I want to keep Richard Donner's face up though. I'm a little sad about that. I mean, he's old, but I'm sad because we lost a great one right there. We really did. And man, dude looked good. Always looked healthy. Look at that full head of fucking hair at 91. And he produced the X-Men. You know, and before the Fox sale, before the Fox sale to Disney, there was a bright, shining moment where Fox figured out the X-Men. We had X-Men First Class. We had Deadpool. We had Legion Season 1. And for a magic moment, and then we had Days of Future Past. So for like, and then we had fucking Logan. So for a shining moment, the Fox understood the X-Men more than Marvel ever will. And the only problem in all of that was you should have got rid of Bryan fucking Singer and kept Matthew Vaughn around. But we got some good X-Men movies, dude. I like First Class. I like Days of Future Past quite a bit. I love Deadpool. And I don't even like the character in the comics, and I love the movie. I love, I love Logan. I kind of like the Wolverine, except for that weird ending. Yeah, and Legion season 1 was fucking good. Exactly the kind of tone what Loki should be. See, Noah Hawley, he's fucking woke. If that guy could lose his woke, he'd be fucking, the guy's talented. His agenda gets in the way. Same with Sam Esmail. Guy who did Mr. Robot. That guy's crazy talented, man. But his woke gets in the way. Rest in peace, Richard Donner, man. Oh, hang on. I missed one there. Dan Vask for 50. Brazilian. God, I did it again. Oh, forgive me, Dan. Brasilia. Pesos. For any Americans who believe the U.S. is a terrible country to live, here's a South American willing to trade. Hey, dude, if you want to live up here, like, we'll get you here. Let us know. We'll get you here. We'll find a way. Jack White, formerly of the White Stripes. Again, I want you to get back with Meg. I thought you guys were really good. You're the last rock star, in my opinion. Is it really that surprising? I mean, Sana Amanat wheeled out Stan Lee, who was being abused at the time, to do a pro-diversity video as a way to protect herself and her cronies from criticism. Jack White, that was a disgusting act. That was a disgusting act by a selfish, narcissist, political fucking hack, Sana Amanat, who's a piece of shit, who inserts her own characters and things so she can get financial kickbacks. Don't buy anything with Miss Marvel on it. If you support liberty, anything life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if you buy anything with Miss Marvel on it, you are supporting a fucking traitor, a communist hack. I don't like Sana Amanat at all. Mikey Gussler for $50. Oh, I read that one already, but hey, we're going to give Mikey some props again because you know what? I don't think I named him. I think I read the super chat and I forgot to name him. So the Punisher Warzone super chat was from Mikey Gussler for $50. Who you love? Mikey, I'm sorry, buddy. Mikey's a DC fan, folks, and DC's fucked. DC's fucked. They're going to make a Madame Xanadu because that's what you wanted. You don't want to see Batman or Superman or Green Arrow or Flash. You want Madame Xanadu in her own series. I mean, it's fine if she's in Swamp Thing or fucking Justice League Dark. Cool. I'm fine with that. But getting that over Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, fucking, come on. Come on. Ernesto A. Jimenez for 5,000 Chilean pesos. They are after pop culture because they know pop culture killed communism from within. The Hobbit is my favorite book, and English is not even my native language. Thank you for denouncing them. It is my pleasure. Thank you for supporting me. Listen, denouncing them is fun. All right. I live for this shit. I do. I don't want it to go on forever, though. I would love to go back to reviewing television and film and just talking about stuff, doing live streams on Buffy with Mahler and Az and talking about old Doctor. That's what I want to do. But I'm in this thing. I'm in it to win it. And it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. There is no viable alternative that I can do other than this right now. There are others who can create viable alternatives. And if they do that and they actually produce something, I will support them. I have supported them in the past, and I will continue to support them, but we need to see some actual work. And we need to see something that will actually compete. Now, there is stuff out there. There is stuff out there. And there are people who are trying to make it. Like Chris Gore. He's trying to bring attention to a lot of independent films, independent horror films. He's doing his part, So hail Chris Gore, by the way. So there are people out there trying to do this stuff. There are people out there trying to make alternatives, like I said before. And that's good. That's good. We need to produce the goods. They need to be produced, and they need to be produced on a consistent level, or you're just not going to be competition. You're not. The biggest problem I had as a comic shop owner with any fucking company, comic or creator, was consistency of book. It had to be consistent, and it had to come out quick. And if you're making a comic book, something that is 48 pages or under, or even 64, I think is the next one up, it has to come out within 3 months, every 3 months. If it's not coming out every 3 months, I wouldn't even take a crack at it. I wouldn't even waste my time with it because we want the habitual buyer to be into the story. And unless you're, I would say if your production is going to go down to once every 2 or 3 years, then you need to make 250-page graphic novels, period, end of story. You can't come out with a 48, 64-page book every 4 years. Nobody's going to read that. Nobody, except for the hardest core people, but it's not going to get out to the masses. They're not going to care. It's just not going to work. It's a hard truth, but it's a truth. Based on my 10 years of retail, comic books that are late, people don't give a shit about anymore. It even hurt the Ultimates. The Ultimates was the most popular book for the longest time. Brian Hitch, Mark Millar. It would be months in between books, and the sales never went up. They maintained. They went down a little bit. I sold, 100 copies off the shelf, but it never went up. Why? Because it was late. It doesn't matter how popular the team is and how good the book is. They maintain their audience pretty well, but they didn't grow it. The first book, until they started reprinting the first book, and then that helped a little bit. But for a while, the first book wasn't the easiest thing to get, just for a little while. And it hurt the book. It hurt the book. Being late hurts everybody. There are reasons for being late. I understand that you can't just crap comic books out all the time. It's a very difficult thing to do. Not everybody can do it, or everybody would. I get it. There's distribution, there's printing, there's all the tchotchkes that go along with it. I get it. But the main book has to come out. Like, it has to come out consistently, or it's just going to play to the same people. It's not going to, the audience isn't going to grow until you have enough for maybe a collected work, which at this point will be 2028. So I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of books being started. There's a lot of campaigns being started. And, some people are following through, and that's good. We need that. I want to support this. I think it is the future. It could be the future, or the beginning of a future. I think it needs to be refined quite a bit, and that will happen over time. I want this to succeed. The only way it's going to succeed is with actual comic books, and not just starting campaigns. And I wish him all the luck in the world. I do. Because I said it before, because I was asked a couple times if I would do a comic. Hell no, because I'd have to give up my YouTube channel. Because I couldn't do them both. There's no way I could do both. No, I don't think a human can. Because the amount of work that, the amount of time, I don't want to use the word work, the amount of time put into those, the day isn't long enough. The day is not long enough. So there's no way I would do it. So bless our heart. There's good guys out there. Dan Fraga is a good guy, and many others who we have supported over time, and will continue to support when they have something. I want to say, rest in peace, Richard Donner. Thanks for all the great fucking movies. I'm going to do me a Donner movie marathon this weekend, and I'm watching Superman tonight for sure. And yeah, we lost one of the greatest directors of in the history of Hollywood, one of the greatest TV directors too, and I would say one of the godfathers of the superhero film. All right. I'm going to just double check a couple things here. I would like to thank the Nerdrotics for doing a fantastic job. Of course, Eric K. Also, I want to remind you all about Vegas. So Vegas is August 11th through 15th. The meetup is Thursday, August 12th, 6 p.m. and Saturday, August 14th, 6 p.m. Both at the same location, the Millennium Fandom Bar, 900 South Las Vegas Boulevard, just past the Stratosphere. The first night is karaoke night. The second night is OG Star Trek. Do a 60s science fiction themed dress. Or not. It's fine. Do what you want. But that's what I'm going to try to do. The ladies want to have their fun too. There are going to be drink tickets and limited amount of drink tickets, food, and all that shit. But the bar is open to the public, and we will be kind of going back and forth between a private room and the bar. You could smoke your smokes in front. That's close to the entrance if you partake in the tobacco or the wacky tobacco or whatever. I'll be rolling around Vegas the whole weekend. I mean, from 11th to 15th. So I'm sure there'll be other like little mini micro meetups that we'll do last minute. I'll be rolling with the guys. I do have I have a dinner like planned, a private dinner planned just for the family and stuff. Wednesday. And then I'm going to go to Star Trek on Saturday. I'm going to go Saturday for sure. Maybe a little bit Friday, but probably, yeah, I might a little bit during the day Friday too. Just roll around the Star Trek convention and give all the trolls the opportunity to say what they want to me. Because they've said they wanted to say things to my face. This will be their opportunity. This will be their opportunity to say what they want to my face. Now that Star Trek is deader than fucking dead. I wonder how many people are going to be there. There was like 4,000, and I would say about 3,800 of them were over 40. It was pretty sad. It's pretty sad what's happened to Star Trek. But that's going to be the meetup. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. Again, August 11th through 15th, same dates. It's a Star Trek convention, and there'll be lots of trouble to get into, I'm sure. So I look forward to meeting you there. And that is my thank you to you for giving me this great opportunity, this great gig that I adore. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to go off and host a TV show, I could never do it anyway. Nobody had asked me. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to make a comic book. I don't want to make a movie. I don't want to make a TV show. I just want to do this. Just want to do this. Friday Night Tights is blowing up. Very excited about that. Chrissy Mayer this Friday. Don't forget Chrissy Mayer. Tomorrow, Real BBC on Heel versus Babyface channel. I know the world is just a quiet and boring place without him on Twitter. I understand that. The effects are starting to be felt. Hail Perry Chan. Oh, yeah. My partner in crime at Nerdrotic Daily, Perry Chan. We just passed 40,000 subscribers there. Just passed 50,000 subscribers on Nerdrotic Daily. And we're creeping up on 350,000 on this channel. So things are going great. Thanks to you guys. I am grateful. You see, this is gratitude. It's a beautiful thing. And it makes life so much nicer when you remember that there's a lot of nice things going on in your life. And I don't worry too much about what I don't have or what other people have or what other people are doing. They can do what they want. So, thanks to everyone who left a super chat. You will be, if I missed one, it will be made up this week. So we're all caught up on those. I just put up 2 super chat square ups on Nerdrotic Live for the last 2 shows. The last 4 shows, as a matter of fact. Gray Ghost for $5. Hail Gary, the news of Donner's passing hits hard. I'm a Puerto Rican guy who grew up not too well off in Brooklyn, New York during the 80s, but never saw that as a hindrance. I am American. I love America. His 1978 Superman is part of the inspiration. Why? R.I.P. Gray Ghost, thank you for that super chat. And listen, that movie is Americana, Captain America. It was as popular as fucking Star Wars. Didn't make as much money, but everybody had a Superman shirt. That movie was insanely popular. And look at that. We had Jaws, Star Wars, Superman, and then Empire, and then Raiders. And like, dude, it was just one movie after another back then. It was so fucking great. It was so great. Thank you, Gray Ghost. I appreciate that. I just wanted to get that one at the end. And sorry I couldn't get to everybody's. And again, I will read thank you for being you, says Pamela Holm Crawford for $9.99. You are welcome. Thank you. Kate C for $5. I've ordered you an advance copy of Wildcats 2 from Amazon. Proposed delivery is May 2057. Says Kate C for $5. Hail, Polaris sucks. I went to see The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It was a good movie, says Road Rager for $4.99. I'll keep that in mind. Isn't Dread a satire of fascism? How will you have a Latinx fascist as the lead? Says 200 Watt Studio. Yeah, this is how you outwoke yourself, 200 Watt Studio. Okay, I do have to go. So thank you, everyone who super chatted and donation. You help keep the lights on. You help keep things moving. Thank you to everyone who participated, took time to watch this. Hit the like button and subscribed. Thank you all. Or even if you're out there and you didn't subscribe and you watched, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, thank you to the Nerdrotics. Thank you to, X-Ray Girl. Congratulations. I can't believe I didn't start out with this. I'm an asshole. X-Ray Girl was married to Mark the Cyborg over the weekend. So congratulations to X-Ray Girl. It's good news all around, folks. Good news all around. So she'll be back soon. And I'll see you tomorrow on Az's channel on The Real BBC. In the meantime, enjoy some credits.
Nerdrotic.com